Well, hey, good evening, folks. How the heck are you? It's good to see you. It's good to be seen by you. I hope you're all having an absolutely wonderful evening. Sorry for the scheduling confusion today. That's all on me. That's all on me. I had some stuff pop up and it kind of got in the way and I had to scramble, but I'm here. I made it happen. And you know who else is here? You know who else is here? Kyle Schuant, my Australian co-host, awesome guy and all around swell dude. Kyle, welcome.
Hello, boys and girls.
How are you, my friend?
Good, good.
Excellent, excellent. Good to hear it. Kyle, I don't know if you've been watching the tally, but did you know we are, as of this broadcast, 953 subs on the YouTube channel?
Oh, that's not bad.
You need to warm up those dice, buddy. You got a con you're going to have to run some games at here real soon now. And I couldn't be happier. And I couldn't.
Well,
be
that's
happier.
all right. If I'm not ready, that's right. If I'm not ready to run a game, I'll just say something politically offensive, and we'll lose some subs. And then, because isn't that how it works? Like we hit 1,001, and then we lose some. Cancel, or So how does this work here? Because it's not like XP that once you get them, you can't lose them.
Hashtag unsubscribe Kyle, I think is how that.
Yeah, but
works.
how does it work here? Because it's not like you can't lose XP, but you can lose subscribers. So.
Ooh, yeah. I don't know.
And also, how does it work technically? Because YouTube unlocks things at certain subscribers. Do you lose them if you lose subscribers?
Oh,
do you suffer level drain?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about a level draining, soul sucking monster, I don't think you could get any better an analogy than the Google Corporation, who own YouTube. But I don't know. Okay, so I was thinking about that. Like, if we hit 1,000. And we're dumping the confetti and cracking open the bolly and dancing around the room and everything. And like the next stream, it's $9.99 or even $9.98. Here's my thought on that. I'm gonna go, and I'm not a rugby fan, so you can tell me if this is the same case in rugby. But I'm gonna go with the American football thing. It's like if you get a touchdown in football, college or pro, by dint of having the ball in your hand and lunging across the goal line, just extending it so it breaks the plane of the goal line. And then the defensive line shoves you back. They don't say, you got a touchdown. Oh, no, we took the touchdown away. Because once you get over the line, you've gotten the touchdown.
Yeah, that would be my view.
So, yeah, we hit 1,000 and then, I don't know, YouTube boots a few off or somebody gets a bug up their ass because
Well, once you hit the XP for the level, you cannot gain any more XP anyway.
Yeah.
Until you've trained.
Exactly. So we will hold that 1K subs line as the goal line or as the XP point. So if we hit 1,000 and somebody gets their panties in a wad, or YouTube does something fucky with subscriptions, which they do, by the way, they don't want me to get to the point where I can monetize. But if we see 1,000 and it stays there long enough for me to exalt it and so on and etc., then that's a win. Basically, guys, that's a win, and that is the 1,000 subs that we want for the channel, and we are so close. We are so close. We are at 952 or 53. I'll have to look if somebody doesn't have the channel open. Let's see.
Yeah, it's 953.
953. Okay, thank you, Kyle. They don't call him the best co-host in the business for nothing, folks. Really, honestly, it's his title. I've seen it. I've seen the paperwork. You got to trust me on this.
I want a trophy, damn it.
Well, I'll talk to HR about it, but I can't promise anything. Not this quarter. Not on our budget. So anyway, it is a fantastic thing, fantastic time. I am so glad that we are sitting at 953. And I'll tell you guys, speaking for myself, I don't speak for Kyle because I can't really do a good Australian accent. But speaking for myself, I greatly appreciate everything you guys do because it's you guys, it's you fans out there. You go out and you tell people, go to the Delver's Dungeon and tell other people to subscribe and click the bell icon for notifications. You guys are carrying this across the goal line, and I couldn't be happier. Thank you all. I am humbled and honored by your efforts. Mobius says, I need a gold play button. It would look good on the wall behind you. You know what? I'm going to 3D print a play button and stick it up there. That's what.
Painted gold.
Yeah, exactly. Get some gold Krylon and spray paint it and have my own play button. You think that would upset the powers that be? I think it might. So speaking of creating things, and Kyle called me out. He has slapped me with a gauntlet because I didn't get the title right for tonight's episode, because we're doing Let's Play. Not only are we doing Let's Play of First Edition AD&D at 8:30 tonight, we are also doing Let's Play some Classic Traveler Planet Creation, he said, quickly bridging into the topic. So Kyle,
that's why I like to, when I can, do the next day, because then we don't mix up what we're doing here with your live streaming the game. You know, because as they said in Ghostbusters, don't cross the streams, dude.
Don't cross the streams.
So, yeah.
But hey, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good. So
Here we go.
Planet creation for Classic Traveler. Now, Kyle and I have done hex crawls, but when the hexes are the size of star systems, what do you do?
Well, yeah. So, okay. So, for an overview, for those who haven't seen there's 2 other episodes. You can go back a week and another week. But there's the original Traveler box as issued in 1977. This is Free Trader Beowulf calling anyone. Mayday, Mayday. We are under attack. Main drive is gone. Turret number 1 not responding. Mayday. Losing cabin pressure fast. Calling anyone. Please help. This is Free Trader Beowulf. Mayday. Traveler. Science fiction adventure in the far future. So, 1977, the age of much great sci-fi, Alien and Blade Runner and all the rest were coming up in the next few years.
Land.
3 little black books for the D&D Ronyards, having 3 digest or A5 size books will look familiar, and there's a reason for that, which is that Mark Miller sat down with a copy of original D&D and looked chapter by chapter at what he needed to write next for a sci-fi game. He figured it's the same thing but in space, so I'll need to cover the same or similar things. You know, instead of swords, it's laser pistols. Instead of being a fighter, it's being someone who had a career in the army, and so on. 3 books, Characters and Combat, which we covered in the first week. Starships, which we covered in the second week. And then Worlds and Adventures. Of course, as is traditional with role-playing game books, especially in those early years, they're not perfectly organized. So, for example, the Starships book has got a section on drugs that the characters can take.
Either or. There's something in there about getting high and spaceships, but I'll leave that to individual tables.
So, because the writer has an afterthought, or they just have the 44 pages to use, so they've got to shove it in somewhere, and it's not a big deal because there's only 44 pages for each book.
It's why poisons are right after political systems in the AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide. Here's like, I'll put this here.
Okay, so now it would be tedious holding this up to the camera all the time. So we'll add this to the stream.
Right on, right on.
Okay, so this is a scanned version of it. You can get a copy from Drive-Thru RPG, of course. And we'll have a look at this now. Okay, so there's the same black cover you can see there. Obviously, somebody scrawled on this copy. It's good to see that it was well loved.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just zoom in a bit. So you can see the table of contents, what we're looking at. Worlds, equipment, encounters, animal encounters, psionics, and a final word. And it's a final word because book 3 is the last of the 3 original books. The other stuff is kind of afterthoughts, and that's when they, it wasn't just AD&D second edition that started the splat book grind.
Mm-hmm.
So that it started coming out pretty soon. These original games, as we're always emphasizing, they assumed that you as game master would create your own game world or worlds, your own setting, and you build it from there, just whatever you and the group happened to think was cool. It was only in the years afterwards, with going from feedback at cons and letters to editors of game magazines and all the rest, that they started realizing that there was this great demand for, here's your setting. Oh, this big pile of paper on your table. They didn't realize there was that demand, and like, well, that's what they want, and they'll pay us for it, so why not? So it says the referee has the responsibility for mapping the universe before actual gameplay begins. The entire universe is not necessary immediately. Well, that's good to know, because it's quite big. So the universe is mapped in convenient segments called subsectors. Basically, it's a chunk of hex paper, as you'll see later in the book. But you can see here, I've got a piece of hex paper that a previous owner has written on. That's a subsector. Each subsector is an area of hexagonal cells measuring 8 hexes by 10 hexes. Since the recommended scale is 1 parsec, 3.26 light years per hex, the subsector covers an area 10 parsecs by 8 parsecs. So you're meant to photocopy it and fill it up. So world occurrence. You go through each hex and you roll a d6 to see if there's a world in that hex. They suggest 50-50. Half the hexes should be filled with worlds. But you can make it more or less frequent as you wish. Now, this ties into what we discussed about, last week about the starships, because you have a jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 starship. If you have really infrequent worlds, only in 1 in 6 hexes, and you only have a jump 1 starship, there's going to be not many places that you can go. On the other hand, if you have really frequent worlds, like half the hexes, and you have a jump 6 starship, the game master is going to have to create a lot of worlds in play, because there's a lot of places that they can go. So that's kind of something the game master has to start thinking about, the technological level, and because that also, the technological level affects how where the players can go. It's just as if in D&D, if the players have just got themselves going on foot, the game master doesn't have to map out a whole lot of hexes. But if the game master on day 1 gives them a magic carpet that can fly 200 miles a day, the game master's going to have to map out a whole lot more of the game world. It's the same kind of principle. So you've got to think about how those things play in. I like that. Billions and billions of rolls. Someone's watched his Carl Sagan as a youth.
Yes, exactly. when I was a kid and we got 3.5 TV channels there in Gadsden because we didn't have cable, Nova was very much a thing. So the appearance by Carl Sagan sent our spaceships out, and they'll travel millions and billions of miles. Humanity sending a message in a bottle to the stars. It was very profound to my 8-year-old self. My dad would just roll his eyes. Dad was not a fan of Carl Sagan.
Yeah, I thought he was great too. So yeah, there's a world occurrence, and then there's you throw for starport. There might be bases like a naval base or something. There might be a gas giant. That's important, as we'll see. You've got to give it a name, obviously, the star system. Then there's travel zones. Most worlds are assumed to be civilized, or at least amenable to travelers and visitors. Some, however, are caught in the throes of war. Yeah, don't visit Endor about now. Plagued by disease, or simply not ready for interstellar visitors. Such worlds are classified by travel zones to denote such status. So there's amber travel zones, exercise caution. Red travel zones, don't go there. And they may actually be blocked off by interstellar navy. There'll be communication routes, and those communication routes will obviously be based, again, on the technological level. So if you've got a whole string of worlds close together, then you only need jump one to go between them. So there'll be those sorts of communication routes. And remember, too, from the Starships book, that you've got, as well as the time to accelerate to wherever you jump from, get off the planet, accelerate to wherever you jump from, and arrive at the planet. There's also a week in jump. You've got a week in jump space, so there's a little bit of delay. So right. This gives the game universe a bit of an age of sail kind of thing. That communication is basically at the speed of the fastest starship, and that's not instantaneous. So
yeah. I was just going to say, I wanted to interject. You're talking about interdicted worlds, and one that pops immediately into mind for those of you who are like, interdicted world is Talos 4 from the original Star Trek, which I always thought was a bit ridiculous. Talos 4 is one of the few things in the Federation that merits the death penalty. If you go to Talos 4, we're going to kill you. Because if you've watched the Menagerie or the original Star Trek pilot, of course, Talos 4 is a nuclear wasteland a la Gamma World, and the remaining inhabitants are kind of like the mutants in the Second Planet of the Apes movie, horribly scarred, lots of mental powers, can make you do what they want. But here's the thing. If you go to Talos 4 and you land, the mutants will capture you to use you in their breeding program, and you'll never be seen again. If you make it out, clearly nothing bad happened to you. If you somehow manage to escape, hey, wow, you went to Talos 4. Man, that's pretty rough. Yeah, well, we're going to put you up against the wall and kill you now. What? Hold on a second.
So, world creation. The worlds have 6 base planetary characteristics. They've got 6 stats too, just like a person, just like a character. The difference is, as you'll see, that each stat affects the next. And you roll 2d6 for each one.
All right, let's create a planet.
Okay, so there are some modifiers. Okay, so you have the starport, the planetary size, planetary atmosphere, hydrographic percentage, how much water it has, population. The population is on a logarithmic scales. So, a population of 6 is a population of something in the millions. Planetary government type and law level. Law level is a very important one to player characters. Can I carry my machine gun around?
Right. You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Exactly. Low law level. Okay, so they affect each other. And there's some descriptions. Okay, so starport. So we won't worry about a whole subsector map, obviously, but as an example, so roll 2d6 and we get the starport.
All right. We are creating Shuant 3. This is Shuant
Don't
3.
name it after me. Sylvie. That's you.
Sylvie.
You're the one who's calling it up.
Fine. Sylvie 3. 10.
10. Starport type E. Okay, so where's the there's a description somewhere. I forget where they put the description, but basically Starport type 3 type E. Here we go. Frontier installation, essentially a marked spot of bedrock with no fuel facilities or bases present.
I like it.
So you write down first E, okay, because you write it down as a string of numbers, just as you do for a character. Starport type E.
Okay.
Now you roll to see if they have a naval base.
Okay.
You roll once for each column. Naval base, scout base, and gastro.
6.
6. There's no naval base. Is there a scout base?
8.
8. Yes, there's a scout base.
Makes sense.
So you could just put like a little S next to the E or something like that as a note.
Okay.
And then is there a gas giant in the system? On a 2 to 9, there is.
Yes, there is a gas giant. We got an 8.
Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake about the scout base, because it says do not roll if starport E or X. So there's no scout. So there's in fact no scout base, because it's a base where they scout from, not where they scout to. You got 8, did you? So there is a gas giant.
Yep.
Yeah. So there is a gas giant in the system. All right. Now for your next roll for the size of the world. Okay.
I got a 7.
7. So it's 7,000 miles. That's about the size of the Earth. 7,000 miles. So far we've got E7.
Okay.
All right. Now, all right. Now we roll to see if there's any atmosphere or what the atmosphere is like.
A 5.
5. A thin atmosphere. Where's their description? Five. Okay. Hydrographics. Is there any water?
10.
No land masses. Water world. Where's Kevin Costner? So you got a thin
or Matthew
atmosphere.
McConaughey.
So type A. So you write that down as A. So far we've got E75A.
So there's like one promontory of rock that sticks out above the endless sea where you can land a spaceship.
Well, no, I mean, because there'll be a technological level. You've got to think about the technological level as well.
Okay.
And so therefore there may be, like oil rig type platforms, that people live on, or they could just zoom around on water, or they could live underwater and so on. Population.
5.
5. So hundreds of thousands of people. Hundreds of thousands. So you write that down as. Okay. Now the one that all the one that all the players care about is the law level.
So we got a 9.
Oh, this will be fun. Possession of any weapon outside one's residence is prohibited.
So
At least
no
you get
open
it.
carry laws.
Yeah, at least you get it in your residence though. But it also means you can't even carry a knife. Can't even carry a knife. Yeah, law level is also the general throw for police or enforcement harassment for violations. Thus, on a world with law level 4, the throw to avoid arrest when encountering an enforcement agent, such as a customs official or policeman, is 4+. So, high law level, people are just, hassling you all day about all sorts of minor bullshit.
Yes.
There are some of us in some jurisdictions in the Western world who can relate to that over the last couple of years. Okay. All right. Type of government.
$11.
11. Okay. So there are also some modifiers. So, sorry, I was wrong about the population because I looked at the world generation checklist. We need to look at that. See if we've made a mistake. So the population should be 2 less than it was. So it wasn't hundreds of thousands. So it should be thousands of inhabitants.
Okay.
Population level 3. Population level 3. Okay, government is 2D -7 plus the population. So -7 plus the population.
So
The
4.
population was 3. So -4. And you rolled 9. So that was actually 5. That's better. Personal concealable weapons such as pistols and revolvers are prohibited.
Okay.
But
So
open carry is discouraged, but you can do it. You're more likely to be harassed by the cops. Yeah.
very polite society when you carry your assault rifle with you.
Yeah. So, and we've done it backwards. We should have done the government. Should have refreshed myself on this before we did this. Okay, so population, government, 2D -7 plus the population. So again, 2D -4.
I rolled an 11, so that's 7 plus 3 is 10, right?
No, if you rolled an 11,
yes,
it's -7 plus the population.
Minus. I was thinking -4.
Balkanization. No central ruling authority exists. Most rival governments compete for control. Well, that sort of works for a water world.
It does.
They're all zooming around on their yachts and everything. And what you, as game master, would then do with the individual balkanized ones is to roll for their type of government independently. So there'd be some that are representative democracy, some will be a impersonal bureaucracy, and so on. You throw for each then.
Okay.
Okay, so the law level is 2 dice -7 plus the government. So the government is +7, so it's just 2 dice for the law level. Re-roll that.
Law level is 3.
3, yeah. So weapons of a strict military nature prohibited. So you just can't carry around machine guns.
Right.
But you can have others. Okay, technological level. It's 1 dice plus the DMs from the tech level table. Okay, so when we look at the tech level table, we can see, for example, that having high level starports improves the technological level of a place. And different atmosphere types will make a difference. Different populations will make a difference. So high population, because interestingly, lower population means higher tech level. Because you can only, a certain amount of population will sustain itself on the world, but when it's low population, to have a moon colony, a Mars colony of 1 million, they might be self-sustaining. But if there's 20 guys there, they've got to be higher tech level to be able to sustain themselves. Okay, so we've only got population giving you +1 because of the low population. Your thin atmosphere doesn't make a difference. And the starport doesn't make a difference. So it's just the technological level is just 1 die +1.
6.
6. Okay, so yeah, tech level 6. Okay, so that's the world that you've got. So write out the numbers, and we'll put them up on the write out the numbers, the string of numbers, and we'll put them up on the
Okay.
pull quote thing.
Let me see if I can do this.
Primary export, little cans of fish and government forms. I like that a lot.
Little cans of fish and government. Oh my gosh. Well, I didn't write the numbers down, but I wrote down the stats. Shame on me.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. So the stats go in order. Okay. So it's the starport type. So that was E.
E.
Yep. And then
Okay.
there's the size. That was size 7.
Okay.
And then there's the atmosphere. That was atmosphere 5, if I remember rightly.
Okay.
And hydrographics was 10. So you write down as A.
Okay.
Population was 3, if I remember rightly.
2 or 3.
It was 3. It
was 3.
It was
Okay.
And then the government was balkanized. So that's 7.
Okay.
The law level was 3. And the technological level was 6. And we'll see what tech level 6 means in a little bit. So the tech level is not the level of technology that they can use, but it's the level of technology that they can produce locally. So in the modern world, a place like Kenya cannot produce, Aegis destroyers. They can use them if you give them to them,
Right.
and they also probably can't produce, like smartphones. They could certainly use them,
Sure.
but they can't produce them. But they could, they'd be able to produce, old rotary dial phones and things like that. No worries. Okay, so technological levels. You've got a few different areas. This is actually 2 different charts. Anyway, so tech level 6 in weapons is auto rifle and light machine gun, cloth armor, missiles and missile launchers, a Model 1 computer, television. It's also submersibles, the submarines,
Well,
and
I would imagine
ATV,
so.
rotary ring aircraft, and fission power. So it's like 1950s.
Right on.
A 1950s sort of technology. By comparison, the modern world is about tech level 7. Okay, so there's small pistols, there's flak vests, pulse lasers. Yeah, but it's not a portable one, but they are being used to shoot down mortars and that sort of thing. Grenade launcher, hand calculator, as he puts it in the system. Hovercraft, non-starships, but there are spaceships, and solar power. The next tech level, according to Mark Miller in the 1970s, was going to be a razor rifle, ablative armor, beam laser, better computers, battle computer, air rafts, and fusion power. And the tech level after that is when you get the drives and jump drives.
Okay.
And it talks about grav vehicles. So then the theory is if you get artificial gravity, you also have anti-gravity. So you can get things like the Star Wars speeder. And that
makes sense.
That was the theory, yeah. So this gives you an idea. And then you've got, like tech level 3 is sailing ships and tech level 0 is canoes and so on. So it's not a super complete chart, but it gives you an idea.
Sure.
And of course, as game master, you'd be quite free to say, well, that's the average tech level. That okay, they're tech level 6 on average, but maybe they can make laser carb, or maybe they can make vac suits because they have to go underwater anyway. And vac suit is just a variation of any kind of like a depth suit or something like that. They can make vac suits, but they can't make mortars. They've got no use for making mortars because a mortar requires a stable base, and they're on boats, so
Right.
they just can't make them, and and so on. You could do that and just say it's an average.
So here's a question from someone who hasn't played Traveler, and I bet some of the listeners might be wondering this. So we have a plan. We have basically designed Sylvie 3 with all of its various things, and we've hit a tech level of 50s, 60s era of technology. What's to stop free trader Beowulf from just showing up with plans and raw materials to say, guys, we're making fusion generators now?
Well, they could give them the fusion generator, but they need expertise of running the damn thing. You just think of a modern nuclear reactor, fission reactor. How many people are involved in building and maintaining the damn thing? And this place has got a population of thousands. Where are they going to get the people to do that? I mean, that's like saying, why don't we just go to Kenya and make them into an advanced technological society? Where do all the people come from? They need the educated people. Now you can sell them the stuff, and that's where the trade comes in, which is a little bit later. So trade classifications. The term trade classification is a general catch-all phrase that covers world attributes which influence trade and commerce and other information that is of interest to travelers. So agricultural worlds have a large portions of their economies devoted to agriculture. They've got an atmosphere of 4 through 9, if you recall correctly. So atmosphere of 4 through 9 will be between thin and tainted and dense and tainted. So they can't have no atmosphere or a trace atmosphere. And for example, like the moon in our own system is no atmosphere. Mars has got a trace atmosphere. But there's also at the other end, there's exotic, corrosive, and insidious atmospheres. So something like Titan's methane and everything atmosphere is exotic. And then something like Venus's 90 atmospheric pressure, carbon dioxide atmosphere with sulfuric acid rain, and that's corrosive. Your ships and things aren't going to last very long on there. So that can't be an agricultural planet, Venus or Mars. But in our system, Earth can, because it's between 4 and 9, right? So it's got a decent atmosphere. So they must have an atmosphere of 4 through 9, hydrographic percentage of 4 through 8. Okay, so between 40 and 80%, 40 and 80% water. They can't be less than 40% water, because there's just not enough water to keep the agriculture going. Again, that doesn't mean that the place doesn't grow any food at all, if it's not an agricultural world. It just means it doesn't grow enough to export it in significant amounts. So again, thinking of a country like Kenya, it's fairly dry in that. They produce plenty of food for themselves, but they're not really a big food exporter. Whereas, your United States or Russia or Australia or whatever, we are big food exporters. We're agricultural countries.
So when they were dicing up North America, we did really, really well on our ag rolls.
Yeah, and on a lot of rolls. And a population of 5 through 7. So you've got to have a population of at least hundreds of thousands to be exporting food. But if you've got a population of more than tens of millions, they're too busy eating it to export it.
Yeah.
Non-agricultural worlds must import much of their foodstuffs from off-planet. While such a world may produce synthetic foodstuffs for local consumption, it probably imports quality foods as luxury items. A non-agricultural world must have an atmosphere of 3 or less, a hydrographic percentage of 3 or less, and a population of 6 or more. So Sylvie 3 is neither agricultural nor non-agricultural. So it doesn't export, it doesn't import substantial amounts. That doesn't mean it doesn't export or import anything, but it will be, like the guy said, it might be canned cat food or something like that. It might have specialty stuff.
When your tuna are 400 meters long and you have to fish them with attack submarines, you tend to export a lot of fish.
Industrial worlds have large production bases and can easily engage in the manufacture of finished goods. Such a world must have an atmosphere of 0, 1, 2, 4, 7, or 9, vacuum, trace, or tainted, and a population of 9 or greater. That's not Sylvie 3. Non-industrial worlds are forced to import much of their finished goods. Non-industrial worlds must have a population of 6 or less. That's Sylvie 3. They have to import most of their finished goods because they just don't have enough people to make them.
Yeah. Don't have enough land to make them on. Like I said, one rocky promontory sticking up out of the ocean where there's now a little bit of planetological actual science with capital S. A water world would be racked with permanent hurricanes. The amount of water vapor generated would make it a greenhouse hell. And
remember, it's got a thin atmosphere.
That's true too. That's true too.
It's a thin atmosphere, and there can be other factors as well, like does it have a strong magnetic field? How far is it from its parent star? Does it have a moon? Blah blah blah. And so, Game Master, of course, is free to decide those details as they wish, whatever they think makes sense. Most players are not going to give a damn.
Yeah.
There will be the occasional one. I've talked before about we had a grognard who recently studied orbital mechanics, and he was arguing about the orbital mechanics of Sun Moon around a gas giant. And I said, that's an interesting question. How would your character go about answering that? Because his character didn't have the skill. It's like, and then he just started talking to this other player who was interested in the topic, and then they stopped bothering us. But yeah, it might be racked by hurricanes. Maybe you can put that in too.
Yeah. And it's why I can't get too mad at a lot of the planetary mechanics in Star Wars. Every time we think we figured out, like, oh, okay, well, there's the types of planets we have in our solar system, and then they're scattered all over the place. We find out scientists find out, like, yeah, so there's a planet that travels around its star at a distance of less than 1 astronomical unit, and it orbits the star every 7 days. It has 29,000 mile an hour winds, and it rains iron filings sideways. Yeah, don't come to me with, well, Tatooine would be unrealistic. A planet that close to 2 stars would not be just. We don't know what's out there. Okay,
we don't know, and 99% of us don't care anyway. It's
exactly.
Cool. So
submit to the rule of cool.
Yeah, the rule of cool. So in my games, I've sort of tried to think of not realistic, but realistic themed. And what sort of things might you get? So there was one world which, because I added in, so there's the size of the world, and then I'd make another roll for the gravity, because you normally assume that the gravity will be in proportion to the size, but it might be less dense. Like the moon isn't as dense as the Earth, so it doesn't have as much gravity as it would if it were as dense. So have a bit of random density or whatever, and I rolled up one world which had higher gravity. It was like 1.2, 1.4, something like that. So long term, something that humans can adapt to, but visitors would not be particularly happy with it. And it had a dense atmosphere. So I said that and it had a lot of deep valleys as well. So I said that when people went down to the valleys, it was even denser. And so I said they got really heavy storms because of high gravity and dense atmosphere. Things are churning around. It's quite energetic. And I also said that when they went back into their ships, they had to adjust the pressure on their ships. Otherwise, they'd get the bends. And also, if they went down too quickly, they might get nitrogen narcosis as well, because it was a few atmospheres of pressure.
Right.
So again, they could adapt to it in time, but if they went too quickly, it messed them up. And I thought that just sort of gave a little bit of flavor to that particular game world that they were playing around in. And it wasn't a major part of the game. It could have been, I guess, in certain circumstances. But it just gave a little bit of flavor so that it's not just another starport. So, you've got these agricultural worlds, non-agricultural worlds, industrial worlds, non-industrial, rich, poor, and so on. and that affects their trade. So we'll skip over that. There's the equipment, but we'll skip over that because there's the trade tables that where's he stuck them in at the back? Where are we?
While you're looking for that, I just want to point out, if you guys haven't, if there's anyone out there who hasn't seen Interstellar, first of all, see it. It is heartbreakingly wonderful. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. It's got good hard science behind it. But one of the most fun planets, fun in a drama movie about trying to save humanity, is a world that is so close to a black hole that there is significant gravitic time dilation. If you go down to the surface of the planet, 20 minutes you spend there is roughly 14 years of time here on Earth, and it has consequences. So if you want to screw with your players, put a planet that has gravitic time dilation. Yeah, we're just going to stop off. We're going to trade these barrels of honey and a few hundred tons of comic books, and then we'll be done. You get back, and all of your friends at other starports are much older now and wondering where you've been all this time.
Okay, yes. I forgot it's in the Starships book.
Of course. Which, I mean,
one.
that does make a degree of sense. You have your ship.
Yep.
What can you buy and sell?
Yeah, so trade and speculation table. So you use this table to determine goods and prices. Yeah, are you guys are you seeing it on the stream? Yes, good.
Yes.
All right, so die indicates the result of 2 consecutive dice rolls. Base price is the unaltered. So basically, you spend a week looking for a cargo on spec, a cargo that's available. Okay, and then there are some modifiers to the price of the thing. Okay, so there's the actual value table, the actual value of the thing. So procedure: trader with cargo space available and free capital with which to speculate may seek out suitable goods to buy and sell. The referee throws 2 dice, noting their results consecutive, create a number between 1-1 and 6-6.
All right.
A DM of +1 is imposed on the first die if the world's population is 9 or greater. A DM of -1 if the population is of 5 or less. So it'll be actually -1 in this case. So 2-2 will become 1-2 and that sort of thing.
3-4 is what I got with penalties due to population.
Yep. The quantity of goods available, so 3-4. So the goods available would be spices.
The spice must flow.
Okay, so the quantity of goods is then determined. Spices, 1d times 5.
4, so that's 20.
20. Okay, so there's 20 tons of spices available. Right. So the price of goods is determined by consulting the actual value table. The 2 dice throw determines the percentage of the base price to be paid for the goods. Okay, so you have but there are modifiers. Okay. So spices, there's the purchase modifiers for the purchase price, and then there's selling. Okay, so for example, spices, it's a -2. So spices tend to be cheaper on an agricultural world. They tend to be more expensive on a non-agricultural world. And they tend to be more expensive to buy on an industrial world. There are no modifiers here for purchase. So you just throw the dice for what the price would be.
And I got a 4.
4. So there'll be 70% of the normal price. So the normal price for spices is 6,000 a ton. So would they be 70% of that? 4,200 a ton. Then there's the resale difficulty modifiers. On an agricultural world, it's -2. Right. We make these here. We don't need them. On a rich world, it's +2. Give me the spice. I wanted to taste nice, so you're right. On a poor world, it's +3. Give us the spice. Give us the spice. The meat's going rotten. We need to cover it up. So depends which world you take it to. But there's a fair amount of chance involved in it as well. So technically, you could just buy the stuff, hold on to it, and then resell it later on the same planet, on the same world.
Play the markets, baby. Commodities are the thing.
Yeah, you could play the markets. That wouldn't necessarily be much fun, but anyway.
Yeah. Just for any burgeoning Traveler DMs who've been like licking their chops at the idea of getting their own Traveler game going on, thanks to Kyle's excellent Let's Play Travelers. Don't immediately break out like, you know, stocks and commodities on your players. Have some pew pew and whoosh whoosh.
I think so. Yeah, I think I tend to agree. Now, when you're buying and selling them, you can just do it yourself. But yeah, the actual value is subject to 3 sources: character skills, broker services, and world characteristics. So the broker DMs, broker dice modifiers.
Mm-hmm.
So they can get you an improvement of 5% of sale price for their their skill will add or subtract. So a broker 1 will give you a +1 on the skill, so make it a +1 in your favor. So it'll make buying goods cheaper and selling them. You'll get more money for them.
That's
but
go ahead.
They get a commission. They get a commission in proportion to their skill. Sorry. Yeah.
I was just going to say it's a bit like when you're selling gems in AD&D after you've cleared out that dragon's horde.
Yeah.
And you got to take them to Greyhawk. Well, I told you that was a 5,000 gold piece diamond. That doesn't mean anybody in the city is going to buy it from you for 5,000.
Yeah.
You might just have a credit card that nobody accepts.
Character skills. If characters are skilled in bribery or admin, they may apply these as DMs for the sale of goods. I like that, bribery or admin. And then there's the world types that give a modifier, as we've discussed. Didn't your character have admin?
Yeah, he did. He absolutely had admin.
Just 1 level, wasn't it? I can't remember. Yeah. Just 1 level. So that 70% actually would have been 50%. So instead of getting them for 4,200 a ton, he would have been able to get them for 3,000 a ton.
Nice.
Because he knows how to expedite the paperwork. He knows how to do that. So,
just
bro.
Hold a petty bureaucrat by his ankles over the gangway between buildings on an aqua world.
No, I don't think that's a recognized admin method.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chancellor. I couldn't hear you over the sound of you slipping out of my grip.
This is my bad arm. All right. So, yeah, we had to go back to book 2 to get the buying and selling through worlds. Okay. The next section is equipment, all the gear. And it's much as you might expect. There's, respirator, filter masks, swimming equipment, vac suits.
Mm-hmm.
Ordinary vac suit is just to keep you alive, not to fight in. There are communicators. They also mention technological level as well. Short-range communicator, belt-mounted radio capable of 10-kilometer range, much shorter underground or underwater. 300 grams at tech, weighs 5 kilograms at tech level 5, and 300 grams at tech level 7. Yay! But it's more than 10 kilometers. Then there's medium and long-range communicator, compass, inertial locator, weighs 1.5 kilograms. I think he's anticipating GPS there. Bullhorn amplifies voice to very long range. Weighs 0.5 kilo, but it's very bulky and awkward to carry.
So aside from the bullhorn, basically, and I'm asking this sincerely, this is not tongue in cheek. What tech level would you put a smartphone at? Because the entire list up to bullhorn is all in a smartphone today. So for
Yeah,
the
yeah. And then there's hand calculator as well. Yeah.
right.
So, well, I put that as tech level 8 because tech level 9 is fusion power and all the rest.
Yeah. Okay. And that jives.
Yeah, or you could possibly consider it tech level 9, but then that comes back to what I said about how a world, it won't necessarily, when it's tech level so and so, it won't necessarily every area be at that. There might be a few inventions from higher technological levels, and then a lot of it before. I mean, mobile phone. I first saw a mobile phone around about 1990, but they'd existed 10 years before, but I hadn't seen them. I first saw one, and the woman was carrying it along in the battery in a bag.
Yes.
That one. There was that, but at the same time, back at home, I had a rotary dial phone. So it's not like that. There's going to be something that's a bit more advanced than the rest, and it drives. Assuming the technological is advancing generally, there's going to be one or two things that kind of go ahead and they pull the rest along with them.
Right. Right. And I didn't want to hit you with a gotcha, but it's kind of an interesting thing. It's like, okay, I want easy peasy stuff. So it's like Apple, like on our little world, Apple might possibly open a store that would sell these little hand communicators, but they sure as hell aren't going to open a factory down there.
Yeah, well, that's it. And, they won't get staff for them. So
awesome.
Michael Connor, where'd you learn how to do that? Do what? What? What are you talking about?
Oh, I think they were making jokes about Commando when we were talking about
right.
Throwing Sully off the cliff and everything.
And she shoots backwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's medical kits, shelters. There's all this sort of stuff. Food and overhead. Basic cuisine on a daily basis. Restaurant meals of ordinary quality cost 10 credits a day. He was writing in the 70s. A credit is basically to a US dollar in the 1970s. And you can see that, you can see the perspective too. So you've got the ATV. It's basically sort of a jazzed up, it's hard plastic or something, but like an armored personnel carrier, ground car, ATV wheeled. And then there's the grav carriers and the speeder, the air raft and everything. Speeder, it hasn't been trademarked. Sorry, George Lucas.
That ATV reminds me of the one from Arc 2, which would have come out about this time. So maybe Mark's picking up a little bit there from the old boob tube.
Yep, no doubt. So, and there's hovercraft and wingcraft, primitive biplane craft, play traveler, zoom around in a biplane. So there's all that. And then there's things like grav belt. Negligible weight if on, 10 kilo if turned off. Personal anti-gravity transportation using a single null gravity module and a personal harness. Performance is similar in speed and range to the air raft. So, you could zip around with your grav belt, which I don't think I've seen since like 1950s comics and things. It hasn't really appeared in sci-fi recently. I mean, logically, if you have artificial gravity or if you have anti-gravity or you have reactionless drives, if you can miniaturize it enough, you should be able to have a grav belt.
Sure. They featured very heavily in Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Carter of Mars stories.
Well, they say it's tech level 12, so that's pretty good. But anyway, so that's the equipment, and that's most of which, much as you expect. Remember, the guns are back in book 1. The guns and body armor are in book 1. Encounters. Yes. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say. So our well-armed but somewhat low-tech population of Sylvie 3 enjoys a healthy degree of corporate and internecine government warfare, hypercanes, and 200-meter-long tuna fish that we export the guts of off the planet occasionally. Go on.
Well, I was going to say, you can't have that much warfare with a population of only thousands, but on the other hand, maybe you used to have a much higher population. So, And the world's balkanized. That doesn't necessarily mean it's actually fighting.
Okay.
It's split. It's not a single unitary government over the world. Encounters. Non-player encountering non-players. Yeah, there's ordinary routine encounters, random encounters, and encounters with patrons. The patron thing is where it differs from D&D. Okay, so random encounters. Some random encounters are mandated by the referee. For example, a band may encounter a guard patrol at a building while in the course of visiting or burglarizing it. What? Players burglarizing a building? Surely not.
Yeah. Yes,
the
they
referee is
do. Don't call
always
me
free to
Shirley.
impose encounters to further the cause of the adventure being played. In other words, keep it interesting. In many cases, he actually has a responsibility to do so. The referee's responsibility. Other random encounters are dictated by the random encounter process. Usually, a random encounter with points with humans would occur once a day. There's 1/3 chance that the group will be met. Encounters with persons. Yep. So here's your random person encounters. So you're just wandering along on one of those platforms, and
But are there random prostitute tables?
There's no random harlot table.
Damn it, Miller! You had one job: make sci-fi Dungeons and Dragons, and you couldn't give us random harlots. All right. Okay, well, I guess it's still an okay game. Please continue.
Yeah, so you're wandering around. You're wandering around the starport. The marked piece of bedrock with a warehouse, or around the outcry of Sylvie 3, and you encounter. Roll d6 d6.
2 6.
2 6. You encounter soldiers on patrol. And the soldiers, 2 dice of soldiers on patrol. So 2 to 12 soldiers on patrol. And they're carrying submachine guns and wearing jack.
Just 3 of them.
Yeah, just 3 of them. Yeah. So you would encounter them. There are reaction rolls. When non-player characters are encountered, their reactions will dictate their activity in terms of business deals, violence, assistance, charity, cooperation, and a number of other actions.
I see them coming towards us. I see them coming towards us and say, "These aren't the droids you're looking for."
When an encounter occurs, throw 2 dice and consult the reaction table.
1 6.
Dice throws of 2 and 12 exactly are not subject to DMs. You just get a really good or bad result no matter what. Any other result is subject to DMs. Okay, so the following general DMs have applied. If a character has served 5 or more terms in the Army, Navy, Marines, or Scouts, they get a +1. People are more likely to be friendly. If planetary population is 9 or greater, -1. They're less friendly. It's too crowded. Reactions are used by the referee and by players as a guide to the probable actions of individuals. And they determine responses to business offers or deals with admin or bribery expertise serving as a DM. And they also govern the reliability and quality of hirelings and employees. He called it hirelings.
He called it hirelings. Interesting.
It really is shameless the way game writers ripped each other off. It really is.
Piracy is the greatest form of flattery.
It's totally shameless the way that
it's shameless. It's completely. I don't know how game designers can sleep at night, but I suppose they find a way.
Yeah. Okay. Throw the dice. Reactions of these guys.
11.
11. They're enthusiastic. They like you. They're very friendly, these soldiers. Hey! You were in the merchant service, weren't you? And
I was. Yes, indeed.
Poster falling down. Okay, so... All right. So that, there's normal encounters that you seek out, like the barman and everything when you walk into the bar. There's random encounters like that. And then there's patron. The key to adventure and travel is the patron. When a band of adventurers meets an appropriate patron, they have a person who can give them direction in their activities and who can reward them for success. Players need direction. A patron is the single most important NPC there can be. A patron will, if he decides to hire a band of adventurers, specify a task or deed to be performed and then finance reasonable expenses for the pursuit of that task. Some tasks may be ordinary in nature, such as hired guards or escorts. Other tasks may be for the location and procurement of items of great value. Generally, a patron's agreement with a band of adventurers will specify that the patron will receive the item he's seeking, while all other goods or items acquired will belong to the adventurers.
Right.
Go and fetch my daughter from Thulsa Doom, and you can have whatever treasure you find on the way. In a single week, a band of adventurers may elect to devote their time to encountering a patron. They roll 1d6, and if they get a 5 or 6, they find a likely patron. And then you consult the patron table to see the potential patron. And then you throw on the reaction table to see if they like you or not, and are likely to accept. So, patron encounters. There's different kinds of patrons you can meet: an arsonist, a crew person, a ship owner, a diplomat, mercenary, noble, so on.
An
Playboy,
arsonist is your patron.
Yeah, he wants you to help him burn something down.
Building.
Yeah. Well, so here in Australia, the financial year ends on June 30th. And I knew a fireman once who told me that as we come into April or May, an awful lot of buildings start burning down. And he says they're always vacant buildings, and there are always buildings where the local council was kind of stalling on approving new development, or said, no, that falling down building, which is rotting from inside and can't be fixed, is heritage listed. You can't possibly do anything to it. You're not allowed to live in it or sell it, but you can't do anything to it.
Or
and
repair
it mysteriously burns down.
Yeah.
Anyway, patron encounter. So if you found that, let's say you found a patron, you'd roll up what you got.
All right. So is it 2D or
yes,
what?
It's 2D. So, but you read them like 2, 2, 4,
Okay.
6, whatever.
6. Cocked die, landed on the mouse. 6, 6.
Rumor. Rumors are in effect absent patrons. They impart knowledge which may be acted on by characters if they so choose. So it's, you learn about a dungeon that might be somewhere on, that kind of thing, or the traveler equivalent of it. I was hoping you were going to get terrorist. But there's couriers and merchants and police and emigre and that sort of thing. There's all sorts of things. And you would then roll, rumor doesn't apply, but you would roll for your reaction. You might meet this potential patron and they go, you go away. I don't like you. And then there are animal encounters. And he breaks the animals up into 4 basic categories: herbivore, omnivore, carnivore, and scavenger. And within each category, a variety of animal types exist based on specific feeding, hunting habits, grazers, chasers, and pouncers, as he calls them. Mm-hmm. And the animals have physical stats, but not mental stats. So they'll have a strength, dexterity, endurance, but they don't have an intelligence, education, or social level. They've got, there's category terrain types to modify your chances of meeting the animal and what sort of animal you might meet. A herbivore who's a gatherer, that sort of thing. And of course, you can go to a world and do safari hunting if you want.
Right on.
And there's rolling up the animal attributes of how big they are. How big they are and so on. Different types. So he makes it very general. He doesn't list, like leopards or rhinos or something, because it's different worlds. Then there's a whole section on psionics, which I never used. So, yeah.
Well, it's the thought that counts.
Psionics, yeah. It's basically magic for Traveller.
Okay.
And it would be pretty useful if you wanted to be. I always look at it and I think the guys who did Babylon 5, they took the psi core from the psionics here.
I can believe it.
Yeah, it's because it just, yeah, it reads that you've got a natural talent level of psionics. It's rolled 2 dice, same everything else.
Yep.
And there's a psionic strength. The examination, each character has a basic potential defined by 2 dice throw. Age constantly lessens this potential. So they've got to get you under 18. Then there's your psionic strength rating. And they give you training. There's 6 possible talents. There's telepathy, sending, receiving thoughts, probing, assaulting. There's clairvoyance. There's telekinesis. There's awareness, which gives you super strength and suspended animation and stuff. Teleportation, interestingly. Wow. And then there's some special ones. And then there's psi drugs and stuff like that. So Babylon 5 looks to me like ones that they just took out telekinesis and teleportation and the awareness as well.
Right. So you can drop teleportation basically and have Jedi in your Traveller game if that's how you want to roll.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So you can use the psionics as a Jedi thing if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, they usually have to be trained as kids. Remember, there's that line, because Luke can't be trained properly because he's too old.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, Yoda, what happened to the last bunch of little kids you trained? Murdered they were by your father.
Yeah, and then they say, the climate of public opinion about psionics is extremely negative. Individuals will find it unhealthy to admit possession of or sympathy for psionic powers. So you get that in Babylon 5, where they have to wear black. So they institutionalize so that people won't beat them up so much.
Right.
I mean, you might be able to feel the hostile intent of those 12 guys coming to beat you up and know what they're going to plan, but there's still 12 guys, so they're still going to beat the shit out of you. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's psionics, which, as I said, I haven't really used much over the years. But to my mind, it would be quite a good fit in a Star Wars kind of game or Babylon 5. There's a lot of games that could use it, or a lot of settings that could use it.
I was mentioning in a previous stream about the Witches of Karis. One of the central points is the Imperium wants the little girls that teenage girls that the protagonist buys out of slavery and almost gets in trouble with the cops over, because they have the ability to fly through hyperspace just with mind powers. They can basically, it's called the Witch Drive. So they can teleport their or move a ship through drive space with their minds. And it also makes their home planet extremely hard to find, because when the entire population senses that the Empire is looking to turn them all into engines, they just move the planet. They just move the planet to another star system, and that's the end of that.
So, and then there's wrong one. Then there's a final word. Traveller is necessarily a framework describing the barest of essentials for an infinite universe. Obviously, rules which could cover every aspect of every possible action would be far larger than these 3 booklets. A group involved in a scenario or campaign can make their adventures more elaborate, more detailed, more interesting, with the input of a great deal of imagination. The greatest burden, of course, falls on the referee, who has to roll a shitload of dice. And yeah, okay, he didn't write that, but that's
That's always the way, though.
Yeah. Yeah, you can roll dice, or you can sit there thinking about it, going, "Will I do this? Will I do that?" And then it takes longer if you think about it, and you always come up with more mediocre and middle of the road results compared to if you just throw dice and let the dice fall where they may. It's a lot quicker and comes up with more interesting results than you would have otherwise. So,
Yes.
being like the guy said, an arsonist who needs the player's help to burn something down on a water world. Which is not something I would have thought of myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Classic Traveller, Book 3, Worlds and Adventures, and that completes the 3 books of the original 1977 Classic Traveller, which I believe is all you need to play all kinds of science fiction games. Just add dice and imagination and a whole lot of plagiarism.
Right. Just so. At some juncture, we're running up on the 90-minute mark, but at some juncture, it would be interesting to see, like, and maybe you could tell me if this was ever a thing. If this is cringe for Traveller fans, I apologize. But I know when you talk about Starship Troopers level battle dress, but have you ever gotten the itch to, or have you ever seen anyone create a BattleTech or Gundam or other giant stompy robot mechanic that works in Traveller?
Not a mechanic as such. There's plenty of splat books that do power armor stuff, and
Right on.
there's also a set of rules that the Traveller rules that are focused on the firefight, called Snapshot, which I don't have, but other people have done, and that's focused mainly on the firefight stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, if you had the guys running around in power armor, then that could do it too.
Interesting. The problem that I found, and I don't know how much you got into because giant robots were huge in the 90s and early 2000s, but as far as tabletop role playing, the problem I find that if you get up beyond anything, then you have some very cool looking but very bulky, like, spacesuit sized power armor, is the players just want to live in it. And every week's session just becomes another excuse to have a giant robot fight.
That's the same as if the D&D players have got the +5 plate mail. It's
yeah.
Try to get a paladin out of his +5 plate mail.
Well, it's magical, Bill. It doesn't weigh anything. I should be able to sleep in it, right?
It's going to be like that. It's going to be like that scene in Excalibur where he undoes the codpiece to have his way with the woman. His plate armor. It must be strong because he's essentially doing push-ups in his plate armor. So
yeah.
So yeah, that can be a problem in Classic Traveller, but it's a problem in all games. That's just players.
Yeah.
I'll sleep in my armor. I have my machine gun as my pillow, and I have a link around my neck, and that's just players.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what the game system is. That's the players just like that.
Yeah, they're gonna find a way to do head in a jar regardless. And you've got someone who will justify it. It's Twilight 2000. Okay, you guys, you pull up into the town. All right, well, we're gonna sleep. Okay, I'm gonna roll some town encounter. No, we're sleeping in the tank. You're sleeping in the tank. Yeah, we're sleeping in the tank. Well, I think your asses are killing you. Your back's, like, when you move, you can feel your vertebrae pop. No, dude, I was in for 2 years and I know how comfortable an Abrams tank is. We're sleeping in the tank. Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, I was in for a number of years, and I also know that the moment that we got out of the field, we went straight to go and get fish and chips and burgers, and we wanted to sleep on a real. And we're like, oh my God, so soft. And it was just the regular army bunk, but next to sleeping on the forest ground or whatever. Oh, it's so soft. It's so comfortable. This is awesome, man.
Yeah.
We went straight for all the luxuries. We didn't go. I know that people like that with their players. Yeah, no, we're not going to pay for a cart or a carriage across the continent. We're just going to walk, and we'll just eat iron rations, 1 copper a day. That's yeah, I can live on iron rations for 6 months. That's all right.
You have a perfect interior casting of your colon when you're done. Being a little blocked up. Lord Corion says that power suit has a bathroom, though, unlike the plate mail. Well, I think it comes down to your character's personal sense of hygiene. But so anyway, back to Classic Traveler now that I've ruined things with potty humor.
Yeah, so as I said, books as I've said many times before, books 1 to 3 are incomplete, and we like it that way because you can run your Star Wars or your Star Trek or your Alien or Aliens or your Blade Runner or Stargate SG-1 or a whole stack of different things. You can Outland and so on. You can have entire adventures just on one world. This is a thing I come across again and again, even amongst Traveller players. They imagine that you have to have a ship and you have to be constantly traveling between worlds. You don't. You can have lots of adventures to have it in one system, as the earlier seasons of The Expanse taught us, and Outland and so on taught us. And an entire campaign can be set on one game world without any space travel at all. It has to be exotic or strange in some way, I think, but
Not to belabor the point, but in Outland, that city is what, maybe a few thousand people at most, the mine, and stick a bunch of players in that. Say, okay, Marshall Shepard has cleaned up the or Marshall O'Neill, rather. Shepard was a bad guy. Marshall O'Neill has cleaned up this 1-horse town. He's on his way back to Earth with honors and a promotion, assuming something doesn't accidentally happen to his cryonics pod. The Federal Marshal Service sends you guys in. Now, tell me that you can exhaust all the potential adventure in effectively a small city of a few thousand people that covers many square miles. Now, ramp that up to a planet, which I guess you can get into the hundreds of millions of population on a planet, right? In Traveller.
Tens of billions.
Tens of billions. Yeah. Okay. So you've got a world that's basically like Coruscant from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I will literally never run out of stuff to throw at you on this planet. Why would you want to go to some 1-horse town with 10 people? And a radio beacon in the middle of the desert.
Planet. And when there's half a dozen law enforcement agencies after them.
But it's like I loved the show Farscape, which you could do Traveller with Farscape easily. Farscape with Traveller. But I loved Farscape, and there's but they had a Planet of the Week syndrome. And I understood early on they were being chased by the evil empire. But on a couple of occasions, they went to like full on, hats off to the developers of the show, like Los Angeles and Blade Runner looking worlds. And I'm like, I want to see more of this planet. I want to see more of this, but nope, next week, off to the next.
Well, on the flip side, you can get where, every world they go to each week looks like rural British Columbia. So
yeah, Stargate. Yeah, this alien planet just happens to look like northern Washington State, just like the other 3 planets we've gone through gates on with our 1990s era warp gate effects that every science fiction show was doing. You know the one I'm talking about, the bendy tube with the blue texture flying by.
Yeah.
I honestly, I think in the later years of the Lightwave 3D special effects package, that was like a freebie. Like there were TV shows just using the free shit that came with Lightwave. But I'm sorry, continue.
You could do all that with Traveller. just as you can do many things with first edition AD&D, and I see three guys waiting impatiently to do exactly that. So
they can wait. They'll be patient. I'm the DM. They'll wait.
Stage left and let them do it.
Well, I have I love this whole series we've done on Traveler, and if you guys scroll up in the chat, I've linked the two previous videos of Traveler. I mean, you're the big brain Traveler guy. Is there any? Let me ask you your opinion. Is there anything worthy as far as splat books of visiting, or I mean, is this the totality for you? Is it like, book 4 onwards just
for
meh?
For me, it's the totality. I'm not that interested in all the rest. But that's me. A lot of people have got a lot from later editions and from the various splat books. This whole imperial things. For me, the basic thing about having a fixed setting is players, to be able to adventure, need a certain amount of chaos and lawlessness.
Mm-hmm.
They need a frontier. Whether that be the D&D frontier is essentially like Dark Ages England or Hadrian's Wall kind of thing. Beyond here be dragons. Because you put them in a city, in a lawful kind of city, and they'll very quickly end up dead or in prison, the typical players. Mm-hmm. So they need a certain amount of chaos and freedom and independence. So they need to be in a wilderness, a frontier. Now you can have that in a D&D or a fantasy world, but you can also have that in a science fiction world where they're out there exploring. So what's happening at the core of the empire doesn't really matter that much. It's what happens out at the frontiers that tends to matter and be interesting to the players, that is. They're interested in Tatooine. They're not interested in Coruscant.
Right.
Because in Coruscant, they'll be tracked down and killed very quickly. In Tatooine, they can go and hide in a cave and for 20 years and people will forget about them.
Right.
So that's why I'm not that in favor of big fixed settings. Myself, and the same goes for all the splat books. I feel like listing all the different kinds of equipment that they can have. I don't feel it adds huge amounts to the game. I know there are gearheads that are into that. I see that when I play my shooter game with Insurgency, with people arguing over this 5.56 millimeter assault rifle versus that 5.56 millimeter assault rifle. But in either case, 2 shots at the insurgent and he goes down. So I don't really care. It doesn't interest me much. But it looks different. Well, not when you're looking down the sights. But that's me. A lot of people like all the splat books and stuff. So. Yeah, I think that's about it for Traveler, except for playing it. So,
well, I if there's anything, I think folks really enjoy this. I know I enjoyed doing the Let's Play Travelers. If we want to revisit Traveler, I would be willing to bet that there's a lot of people out there in the audience who would, even if we just stuck around and hung around in the 3 books. I think this merits, if there's any point, down the line, you're like, oh. Yeah, this, we could talk about this or whatever. Bring it, dude. I love it. All right. I mean, it's our show, so of course I love it. But I dig it, man. So yes, send Traveler questions if you want.
To talk about absolutely, everyone's got Bill's email. If you're like, but Kyle, what about submachine guns? Or whatever. Yep, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to exit stage left so that you guys can fall in a 10-foot pit.
All right. Kyle, thank you as always, bud. We'll see you next week. And I'll make sure the schedule works right next week and I don't fall into the pit that I fell into today. Kyle, Shuant, everybody, have a fantastic day down there in sunny Australia, and we'll see you next week. Peace, my brother.
Thank you. Have fun, guys.
Indeed. Okay, guys. Before we start the AD&D game, and that is here in just a moment. Yeah, please do. Kyle is brilliant. He is a great game master and just a generally fun guy to talk to. So if you have any traveler questions, hit us up in the Discord or ping us on bsylvia@gmail.com. And you can get a hold of us there. Now, I just want to take a moment, just a quick commercial break before we start AD&D tonight. And if you're new to the channel, this is a little Let's Play we do of first edition AD&D. And it's not just to sit around and watch us play. It's an educational experience. If you have any questions, if you have any comments about AD&D, you can put them over there in the chat and ask away, and I will be more than happy to answer them to you. So we have, we had some new players tonight. So we're going to get going here in just a minute. But I just wanted to take a moment, as usual, to thank our patrons. Now, we do have a Patreon. It's linked in the YouTube description. You've been watching it scroll across here, across the bottom. If you want to support the channel for as little as $1 a month, you can support us over on Patreon. I appreciate it. The support I get from this channel for you guys just being fans, when you tell people to like and subscribe and click that bell icon for notifications, that means a lot to me, guys. So when I say, hey, support us on Patreon, I'm not rattling the tin cup. I'm not saying my Patreon folks are better than anybody, but I do appreciate it. And I want to take a moment to thank our patrons who do support the channel. I think they've earned that right. And so that is, of course, Digital Discord, Joshua Garlock, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Joseph Lucas, Doomsword Deathmaster, Mark Simpson, Damien 24/7, James F. Keck and his entire observatory, William Smith, the Dungeon Minister, he prays for us all, and of course, Manny Wall. So thank you to those people for making things a little bit easier around these parts. We appreciate it. So Michael Connor says, grift away. Don't feel bad. I will grift with the griftiness of grifting, but kindly, kindly, So if you do want to support us over on Patreon, there is the Patreon link. And again, to get back to the subject matter that we were discussing tonight, do ask about Traveler in the Discord. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been waiting on tenterhooks, whether you're a gamer, whether you're a watcher, it is now time that we begin the begin. We are going to play some first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So welcome our players to the stream, folks. Hello. Thank you for your patience. And we have some new folks tonight. Lord Corion and Bill are joining us this evening. So we're actually going to have a larger party. Now, I'll say this. Last week, you guys turned a section of my Castle Greyhawk into less of a dungeon and more of a monster processing machine, in which monsters came in one end and a thin slurry went out the other. So, as annoying as I might find your successes as a dungeon master,
Orc nuggets.
Orc nuggets. I must salute you. Your play acumen was ruthless and inventive, and you're definitely my kind of scum. So to catch up Anyone passing by who maybe hasn't followed this along, or if you just need a quick review, last week, the party had journeyed to the Castle Greyhawk to adventure there, gone down in through the great cistern in the center of the courtyard for Castle Greyhawk. This, of course, is the international sign for cistern, or that you're going to drink some brandy like a snob. Going down and then heading to the east into an orc lair after recovering from a little bit of a tumble into a pit. The party squared off against a large number of orcs, and thusly and so slew many of them while taking no casualties themselves. You left on your own feet and ambulatory proudly after driving the orcs away, and so you returned to the strange longhouse and stable, which is located a mere quarter-mile away from the ruins of Castle Greyhawk. You don't know who built it or how, but it's been a warm, comfortable place. And when you arrive, riding up to the place, or walking up to the place, I should say, I didn't see horses on anybody's equipment list. Hiking up, you see a pair of rough and ready looking individuals. What do you do, adventurers? What do you do?
This is right as we exited our grand adventure last week.
Yes, you leave the great tumbled ruin of the courtyard of Castle Greyhawk behind you. You've got a few injuries yourself.
Yeah, Geenan's like,
Yeah, I'm carrying Geenan. Two of the followers, I think, are being carried by Bejeebus and Valoric, and the other two followers, and I think we have one guy that can stand guard. Is that
okay? Right? So you're a little more nicked up than I had. Let's see.
I mean, yes, we did turn it into like an orc processing plant, but they were kind of processing us too. So it's, you know.
Yeah. So, the blades of the orc processor got a little beaten up, but you guys did collect some loot from the fallen orcs. But there you are. You're back at your encampment. Your mysteriously comfortable encampment, and so you find yourselves again. There's two adventuring types. You two have heard about this mysterious, the ruins of Castle Greyhawk. Now everyone knows about Castle Greyhawk. It's storied. Its vaults supposedly reach down into the very pits of the earth. And as of late, parties of skilled adventurers have sold and traded and squandered a small fortune, a king's ransom, in the city of Greyhawk. And you want a piece of that pie. You want some of that lucre for yourself. Some fame, glory, and fear to be heaped on your shoulders. And so journeying through the frozen wilderness in the cold, cold days of Fireseek in Greyhawk, you have journeyed across the moors, dodging and evading, well, monsters that could eat you, just like that. And rather than some imposing stone edifice whose very look strikes fear into your heart, you find what looks like a rough but comfortable lodge. A little bit of smoke coming up from it. And as you approach from the southeast, approaching from due east, you see a rather bedraggled but rough-looking band of adventurers approaching.
What do our two new guests look like?
I'm a tall human fighter, about 6 foot in height, look pretty young and look pretty inexperienced. I carry a bastard sword. And, I don't know, they look pretty beat up. We should probably turn around. This was a bad idea.
Definitely a little beat up. I'm of slender build, maybe a little bit short for a human. I've got a gray cloak with a hood drawn around my head. I have my hand on the hilt of my short sword at the side because I'm not sure what I might encounter. Short bow strapped to my back and leather armor that looks like it's seen better days.
Okay. I'm a relatively short and very currently angry and blood-covered dwarf. Some of it my own, most of it everybody else's. I'm going to immediately yell at you two and the cleric. We have 3 men dying here. Make yourself useful. And I'm just going to carry my unconscious bleeding friend inside.
That seems like a good enough order for me. I think I'm going to pick up one of the dying man-at-arms and help dragging them in.
I'll do the same, assuming these guys look like they're well-to-do.
That's how you get a free beer, right?
Right.
All right. So some of the men-at-arms are carrying the fallen on quickly improvised litters made of spears as the handles for the litters, cloaks stretched over, tied over to carry these fellows out. Just setting the scene. The longhouse itself, like I said, is of rough construction, but it seems to have been built with a fair degree of precision. It's logs, wattle, dirt, stones, a packed earthen floor, and a field stone hearth in the end of it with a fire. Were it not for its proximity to that haunted place, Castle Greyhawk, you might think it's a comfortable winter hunting lodgment. So there you all are in the longhouse.
Comfort's relative.
It is.
It beats sleeping outside.
It's very true. I take it you men just made it back from the castle? The fishing that bad there?
Yeah, right.
How badly is Denon beat up?
He got to -2.
Ooh,
Yeah.
he's really
Mm.
bad. Okay.
Yeah, so he's unconscious.
Yeah.
We need to
Have I
sleep
used
for like
up
3
all
days.
my prayers? I mean, my spells for the day.
I think you had 1 left.
One left.
Yes.
1 heal left.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and work on Gene and then try to bring him back to help.
All right. Cast it.
4.
Okay,
Awesome.
Jeanin, you're at 2. You are conscious again. Now, something I want to interject, and this is both a playability and a gameplay aspect. For those of you who are following along, you might note that under the auspice of taking damage in AD&D, 0 equals unconscious, and possibly comatose. But you'll note that the rule says, or as low as -3. In the name of expediency, that's the rule we're going to be enacting in this game, at least for the moment. Dane Fortune deems that Jeanin will not have to lie on his back for a week in the lodge while he heals up. You are still comatose. You are out for 5 turns, so the better part of an hour, but you have marched across the frozen swamps, and once the fire is stoked and the chill begins to leave your bone, there's Valoric is leaning over you and casting a blessing, and you regain 4 hit points, but 2 above 0 now. You're ready to face a dragon with that many hit points.
Mhm.
All you need is 1, and bad rolls on my part.
Yeah.
I've seen weirder stuff. So, what will you do?
I still think we need to sleep for a day.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Your Kyle, your 2 henchmen, your 2 hirelings were both out as well. I'm not sure how long they're going to be out for.
They're probably going to be down for days.
Yes, yes, they were brought below the listed amount.
Okay. So once Jeanin is vaguely conscious, he'll sit up in bed, draw his sword out, and be like, "Who are you guys?" And he is Also, a very thin, wiry human, also very young, but looks unfortunately a bit more experienced than Lynx. And he currently has 3 hirelings that are sort of around him, and he orders them around and makes sure that they do their work, which in this case is like suspicious of all you all, the new people.
I turn towards you and raise my head. The name's Turgo, and I pull off the hood on my cloak, and you can see that it's plainly obvious that I'm a half elf, a little bit dirty, you know, from the road and that sort of thing. Name's Turgo.
Well met.
Well met.
Call me Lynx. I'm up from Verbabonk.
You poor bastard.
And I'm assuming you're here because you heard how you can get lots of treasure and easy treasure from Castle Greyhawk.
Well, by the looks of things, you can also get nearly dead.
We're
Nearly.
doubting that rumor a little bit.
Yeah. Those 2 over there, and Jeanin points at 2 hirelings that are Sir Average's hirelings. That's Leo and Nerm. They're the oldest among us. They were the original party that entered Castle Greyhawk.
Wow.
That and the horse outside.
Yeah. And the horse they rode in on.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Valoric, he's a human priest of what is he? It's been a while since I've looked at his human
Somebody.
priest. He's a human priest of where is it?
Celestian.
Celestian, that's the word. I had to find it on the sheet. He nods to the both of you and looks to the cleric and asks if he could help with the others. Do we have a cleric? Did somebody say they were a cleric besides me?
No,
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought somebody else said they were a cleric. Okay.
What do you need us to do, Doc?
Please help us bind these wounds. Bejeebus just kind of stands off in the corner staring at everybody like, he's a little curious. He doesn't understand what's going on at the moment. These 2 strangers have just walked into our camp.
Very
Quick
well,
mage,
I'll
be
assist.
useful.
I can't make any promises.
I'll assist. I got some rations I can break out too. As the night goes on too. Maybe I'll win some better friends that way. No beer though.
I have 1
I
bottle
got
of whiskey
drank early.
reserved for special occasions. I have
And
1.
living at a Castle Greyhawk is a great special occasion.
Yeah. You don't get any yet. You haven't lived yet. I'm going to pour drinks for everyone but them.
All right. So everyone who is resting overnight, because this is a comfortable, dry place where you actually, you actually have rucks that you can sleep on. The men at arms have created bedding and so forth. You will gain 1 hit point for resting for the night. It's warm. It's comfortable. It's basically like a rough inn. So there's no, if this was a tent pitched, or if heaven forbid you were deciding to remain in the dungeon to rest, then you would not gain that hit point. But the night passes. Stupid D10. The night passes uneventfully.
Is there anything interesting looking in this place?
Other than its construction, given its proximity to such a haunted, cursed, dangerous place as Castle Greyhawk, that's the chief point of interest. And it is, but beyond that, no.
One other question: Does it look fairly defensible? Like, what would happen if we got attacked in the middle of the night?
Don't give him any ideas.
Well, I wasn't gonna, but now that you bring it up,
They burst in through the doors and windows.
yeah, I mean it's as defensible as a longhouse in a barn could be.
Right.
There's no curtain wall, there's no rampart. It could resist a small band of annoyed kobolds who couldn't make the connection that possibly starting a fire on the roof might be a way to go. Any other concerted efforts, and you would find yourselves hard put to hold the place, unless you just plan to fight to the bitter end.
It beats holding a moldering old ruin, though.
Granted, or dying in a dying in some lonely room in a dungeon because you decided to camp out there.
We don't know who built this place, because it was here when we found it. It doesn't look the same as the rest of the castle.
Valor, Gene, perfect idea. Perfect idea. Zombie house. Hear me out. Send them in first.
I looked at Torga. Zombie house.
Zombie house.
Yeah, we'll have to give you the tour. Can you say more about Zombie House other than I think you're trying to get them to go to their doom?
Entirely.
Okay. Great idea. Let's think about that later.
Yeah.
I'm still not feeling up for going back in right now. Maybe tomorrow I'll be feeling up to it, especially Valoric, if you can give me more of Celestine's blessings.
Valork will pray over him one more time.
Okay.
Gain 5 more.
Extra hit point good squared out. Thank you.
There you go. So you are completely healed. The 2 men-at-arms are awake. They're just in a lot of pain, and they will be down for days. So you're down to 4 men-at-arms.
I had 3. Sir Average had 2. So we're down to 3 left.
You're down to 3 men-at-arms. Okay.
Yeah.
3
One of my
men-at-arms.
men-at-arms is sick in Greyhawk City. Good for him.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, he's...
So that was the day after we came out of the cistern.
Mm-hmm.
If maybe the day after that we could go back in, unless you all want to go for a guided tour. I'm staying here until I feel better.
I mean,
How
I
much does the
can,
guided tour cost?
I'm happy to take them.
Your life.
Yeah.
Hey,
We can take it.
actually, let me think about this. Since Valoric just healed me, I am fine for going in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will leave.
I have 2 other cure light wounds. I could put one on each of the men-at-arms, and we could wait another day. I could get some more back. And
But the men-at-arms are going to
really
be out of commission for days.
okay,
Yeah.
So should probably leave 2 of my men-at-arms here. I will leave Barney and Dora, and Alice will come with me.
Okay.
One of them's name is Barney.
Yeah, I named them alphabetically: Alice, Barney, Carlos, and Dora.
So Carlos is back in the city of Greyhawk, yes?
Yep.
Okay. So it's just Dora. So you're going in with 1 men-at-arms and a party of 5. I love it.
Yeah. Well, the 2 will stay with these 2 of Sir Average's people, and Alice will come with me.
All right. Okay, so are you returning to Castle Greyhawk?
Yes.
All right, let's have a quick gander and
Where'd I
see
put
if
my
anything
map?
jumps out at you. Sadly, nothing does.
Literally.
So for the newcomers, you are standing before an edifice of white granite. The stories about the place fall very short of its strangeness and its broken, crumbling grandeur. Across a moat which a felled tree lies across as a bridge. There is a broken gate whose mighty doors are rent asunder with enough space to pass through. Looming towers peer down at you, their black arrow slits staring at you like accusing eyes. In the distance, you hear the caw of a crow or a raven. It echoes back and forth from the stones like mocking laughter. You have found Castle Greyhawk. What will you find inside? We shall see.
Treasure lying around, of course.
Of course, just lying in convenient and easy to pick up piles.
As we cross and enter the courtyard, is the zombie house still burnt down?
Oh, it's still gone. Yes.
Good.
Yes, those of you knew there's the crumbled ruin of something that looks like it was burned fairly recently. The size of a good sized medium cottage, off to the left as you go in. Directly in front of you, across the gate, there is across from the gate rather. There is what appears to be a well, a cistern of some kind. There are chains and ropes and other, tied together cloths and so on, hanging over the lip of it. It has no lid and it has no cover. On the far side, so if you go in from the south, which you do, directly to the north stands a tower at the 12 o'clock.
Tower of Wizardry.
The Tower of Wizardry.
Gene points at it.
Now, there is a barbican that you have to pass through as you enter the castle with small towers on it. But at the 9 o'clock position to the immediate west is a tower. And at the 3 o'clock position to the immediate east is a tower.
So which one of these towers did it to you?
To the west is the Tower of Armaments. To the east is the Tower of Black Magic. We went down the well.
We also had a group, or at least I had a group. I think it was Sir Average at that point. That had a group that went to the east tower. There be golems in that tower, and we don't talk about that. If any of you get a bright idea to drink random potions, my advice, don't. I lost a team member that way. I sadly lost a second team member that way. Hopefully you won't be so foolish. Yeah.
To get you a little bit more up, to what the field of battle is. That building over there that's burnt down, we call that the zombie house because when some of us went in, we were attacked by zombies. We burnt it down. Over on the other side, other corner, is a ruined stable, which we fought many spiders in there, and we killed them. But otherwise, we go down into the well. We know there are hobgoblins. We know there are orcs. There are 2 other passages out of the bottom there. We don't know what's there. And there's still orcs. We left some behind.
Is Ira around?
No, you do not see Ira.
No Ira.
How many orcs are we talking about?
There must have at least been, I think, 9 left, and one of them was very big. We killed several dozen.
Well done.
I have one question, and this is mainly for Sir Average, Valoric, and Vijivas. The zombie house had a cellar.
Mm-hmm.
Should we see if we can poke into it? We've never tried that.
Well, the rubble's cooled. Does anybody have a shovel? Or preferably several?
No.
Let me check my. Let me check my.
Geenan wants to go. He seems to remember when we made a circuit of the zombie house, we saw if you will, a bulkhead or like a entrance to a root cellar.
Yes.
Is that still there? Is it still passable?
It's still there. There is some timbers have collapsed on it. You'd have to clear it off, and then you're not sure because the house largely collapsed in on itself into its own footprint.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're not sure what you might find if you open that up.
It might be worth giving it a quick try. Sir Average, you and I are quite strong. We can move some of those timbers.
Yeah, who here has bows?
Bows?
Bejeebus has the crossbow.
I have a short bow.
Cool. You two keep watch. New guy with a toothpick. The not quite arming sword, not quite great sword, not quite sure what it is.
Don't get him started.
But I guess the three of us can clear.
I got some javelins, so
Would you rather keep watch?
I can keep watch. Yeah.
Javelins
Okay.
are a mighty good weapon.
They
All
are.
my people are armed with javelins.
Mm-hmm.
Valoric will stand by in case there's any undead that may have found a way down into the cellar.
You
Yeah,
have
I'll
one
keep
job:
my
stand
bow
there and pray, Padre. Stand there and pray.
Muted. It sounds like Gene and Sir Average are going to try to clear out some of the timber that might be blocking entrance to the cellar and see if
still
there's a
have a-
passage.
You still have one man at arms to help you out too, if you need
Yeah.
to.
I think she should stand guard too.
No, she. Yeah. Woman at arms.
She's getting paid. She's not picky about it.
And I should point out that it's overcast. There's a light breeze, and it is just a little below freezing, just in case you guys were curious about that. So in first of all, there's going to be the process in the cellar, moving the timbers out of the way if you wish to attempt.
Yes, we will.
All right.
I got some rope too, if you'd rather tie. If that helps.
If you're just going to try and lift them, I'm going to modify this, but both of you give me, or anyone who's attempting, give me a Ben Bar's lift gates roll on that. That is a percentage dice, and it's based on your strength.
Yes. And mine is better because I have, so I'm going to have to look that up. Well,
You have the
14.
gardening gloves of, I'm sorry, you rolled
Yeah.
a what?
I got a 14.
A 14 on percentage dice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're able to, you just lift a fallen charred timber out of the way and just heave it off to the side. So one of the doors is now clear.
Gene will give it a quick listen. Anything inside? Anything going on?
You don't hear anything, no.
He'll try the door.
Give me an open doors roll. That's a D6.
I rolled a 6.
Doesn't budge. Will not budge.
Sir Average, you want to try?
Sure. I got a 6.
Yeah, maybe the hinges are melted by the heat of the fire you guys started. I mean, you can keep trying. It's going to create a racket if you do.
I'll try one more time.
Okay.
I rolled a 4, and I have open doors on 1 through 4, so I think I can do it.
Yes, you are able to wrench it open. Whatever the heat did to the hinges, like every 6 inches you move it, there's a pop as it slowly opens. The way down the short steps into the cellar is choked with fallen timbers, blackened wood and brick, but you think that if you crouch, one person could fit down this side of the cellar steps to go in. And it looks like the way the rubble has fallen, it sort of goes off to your right. Is the clear path, just the dim light from the overcast day shining down through it is perfectly dismal and gloomy seeming.
Turgo, you like spelunking. Go check.
I'm happy to take a look.
Do you need a torch?
No. All right, so I'll go ahead and make my way down through there.
All right.
Trying to be quiet, trying to not be seen, of course. But like you said, it's dark. Just being careful generally.
Sure. So you're carefully picking your way through. Give me a saving throw versus paralyzation, please.
I've already killed someone. I feel so guilty.
Nah, there's no guilt here. It's okay.
4.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not gonna get
So some wood shifts. You kick a beam or something just catches on your foot, and some wood shifts and collapses on you. It's not much. Well, it's you take 3 points of damage from shifting timbers. You get gouged and scraped with nails and so on.
Yeah, obviously I cry out momentarily.
Hope you had your tetanus shot.
Yeah.
We got
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I should roll on disease.
Instant rapid onset lockjaw. Let's go.
I guess I'll get my hireling to give me a torch, and I'll try to shimmy in there so I can help you out.
Am I stuck or am I still?
Oh no. It didn't
okay.
collapse on you and pin you.
Yeah,
It was
just like cut my shoulder.
beam
or
just
something.
kind of sort of shifted and banged you in the head.
Okay, well, I'll be a little more careful and continue on down the passageway. I'm pretty banged up, but still alive
Okay.
For now.
for now.
Alrighty. So as you are negotiating your way, the choked off, tumbled down hull, for lack of a better term, opens out into a larger area that, while it is blackened and burned, the beams that held up the floor above you seem to have survived. The heat has scorched the room quite thoroughly, but it is big enough now that you can stand up, and there is an incomplete pattern on the floor, like a circle that has been disturbed somehow.
Great.
There is a hunched figure in the corner, sort of stops and turns around, and it is sort of this flabby skinned, sallow in color, with these pupilless yellow eyes, long razor sharp looking nails, mouthful of jagged teeth, and it hisses at you and drools and begins to advance on you. It's got bony spikes protruding from its knees, and it is moving straight at you. The room's about 10 feet across. Let's see. Yeah, you were on your guard, so you weren't surprised by this thing. It hisses and extends its claws and starts moving towards you, and there's like the choking stench of ashes and brimstone, even above the smell of char in this room. What do you wish to do?
Do I feel like I can get out of here pretty quickly, or was the way in too dangerous? I mean,
it was kind of dangerous.
Right. All right, I yell out, "We got trouble, boys! Help!"
All right. Turgo traveled with me. I guess I'm running in after him.
Well,
Doing
you're
it a little quickly.
stepping over and moving. If you're running, give me a saving throw versus paralysis.
Question for the DM.
Yes.
Can I, with my knowledge of stonework, masonry, etc., and my previous professions, can
This is all wood ruins. Sorry.
Correct. But can I look up at it and know if the ceiling's about to collapse on my head if I walk down there?
No.
No guess?
No guess.
No guess.
Oh, and I should point out that this humanoid figure it's only like 3 feet tall. It's like a satanic,
that makes a difference.
It's like a satanic hobbit.
That makes a difference.
It's charging across the room at you now. Roll for initiative. While the rest of you guys are coming down, roll for initiative because it knows what it wants to do.
3.
What'd you roll? It's a D6.
Yeah, I rolled a 3.
Okay, you will go first.
All right, you said it's about 10 feet across to the other side?
Yes, but in AD&D terms, that is more than enough room to move and attack and be attacked in a single combat round. So,
right. Yeah, I'm wondering if it looks like I can shift around to his flank to let the other guys in and try to stab him with my short sword.
okay. Make your attack roll.
I hit armor class 6.
Okay. This thing just ducks under the sweep of your sword and lunges at you with its razor sharp claws and its open mouth. Those of you who entered in and Bill Turgo charged down there just willy-nilly, right?
Yeah, onto the other side of the opponent.
The other
Yeah.
side of the opponent, right?
Yeah.
And Corion Lynx was following him down. You said,
Yep.
okay. And you were just moving as quickly as you could go, right? Not taking care.
Yeah.
Just okay.
Son,
Saving throw versus paralysis.
that's not going to do it. It's a
All
6.
So some ruin shifts onto you. You take 3 points of damage.
Oof.
Valoric is going to follow him down carefully.
Okay. So Valoric, you will be there at the end of the next round.
Okay.
Corion Lynx goes into the room, and there's this 3 foot tall demonic creature, as I have described. It's horrifying, stringy black hair. Just as you walk into the room, it is leaping onto Turgo, clawing and scratching. That's a miss. That is a possible hit. And that is a miss. Bill, what is Turgo's armor class, please?
6.
6. For it is a human number. Yeah, I'd be playing something cool like some Zeppelin or Maiden, but then I'd get copyright struck, and that would be the end of my channel. So, so let's see. I believe that you are going to be hit there. Yes. It does 1 point of damage. It scratches you for a point of damage and then tries to bite you, but fails.
All right. Well, I'm still up.
All right. We still live. Okay. Corion Lynx has entered the room. There is the thing before you.
I think it's time to hit it with my sword.
Swing, bata, swing.
Oof. That's, no, I'm not going to hit.
Yeah, it's creeping forward, claw, jumping around. Anybody else going down in there?
Bajibus is going to creep down the steps as well
Okay.
and have his crossbow at the ready.
All right. Mark, how about Jeanin?
It sounded like it's getting pretty crowded in there, but Jeanin will try to pull in the rear.
Not close the door and leave.
Just move the beam back over the door.
Hello, new people. Go down here. Close door.
Wait for the screaming. Wait for
I
the
would've
screaming
done
to
that.
stop. Go down. Get the equipment.
I would have done that,
I
but you
believe
both
you
just
would
went down
have.
there. Good job. All three of you did.
So yeah, you enter the room at the end of the round, and this thing is staring at you with its hateful, empty eyes and sizing you all up for eating. Valoric, you recognize this is a demon. This is a mains. This is the least type of demon. And even though it's almost completely scattered, there are the remnants of a pentagram on the floor with a warding circle around it. So likely as not, this thing was prisoned here, and then the fire loosed it, but not out of the room. So at least that's your best guess.
Oh, okay.
So let's roll initiative because I know what it wants to do.
I'll roll.
All right.
3.
It is a tie. Its razor sharp claws and bitey little mouth will go first. So we will do claw, bite. A claw hit, and it's in a target-rich environment here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just thrashing. Jeanin is struck for 2 points of damage, and we'll see if it tries to bite him to follow. It tries but fails. So next,
I guess Bill, you're out there in front of him, I believe.
Yeah, off to the
Next turn.
side or whatever. Yeah. I say, back to hell, beast. And I plunge my short sword into his neck.
roll it. Roll it.
2.
No.
It's you're not gonna hit it. If it was 6 feet tall, maybe, but it's way down there on the floor. It's like, haha. Oh, right. Okay, next up.
I guess unless Jeanin's going to make an attack since he's right beside it.
Lynx.
Lynx?
I will go. I've switched dice, so this one should be rolling better.
There you go.
20.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
All right, you thrust your weapon forward, and it passes right through the creature's body. You pull it out, and it doesn't appear to have been damaged.
The worst outcome. To know my fail before I failure.
Sorry. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else to attack?
Bejeebus is going to take a shot with his crossbow.
All right.
It gets a 13.
A 13. Let's see now. Armor class 7. Bejeebus is fighter 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That is a hit, but it is low to the ground, and there are others in the party, and you are shooting into melee. So there's an even chance you may have just pranged one of the party members.
Oh boy.
Oh, just missed.
Good.
So you did hit it. Your arrow just sort of sticks in it, and then it falls out onto the floor.
Of course. Okay, I guess Valoric is going to start praying to Celestian and pull out his short sword and get ready for an attack.
Turn demon. Oh wait, that doesn't work.
Yeah, that's not one of the options.
Not yet. Not for a long time.
Jeanin wants to interpose himself, if he can, between this thing and Turgo, who's hurt.
Okay.
And is just yelling, "Get out! Get out! We can't do anything to it. Get out!"
Okay. Let's roll initiative.
I'll roll.
Okay.
4.
Party goes first. Turgo, Geenan jumps in front of you. You can withdraw from the battle without taking any attacks from it.
Yeah, I'll slap him on the shoulder and I'm out of there.
Okay. So Aviraj, your new companion Turgo, comes out. He has puncture wounds and slashes on his face, hands, and neck, and is kind of staggering around in a lot of pain. The rest of you, what are you doing?
Bejeebus is going to cover everybody and allow him to back out. He's still by the stairs. So
Okay.
If you allow characters to use the parry option that's
Yes.
in the player's
Except-
handbook, that's what Geenan's doing.
Okay. Exceptional strength. It will basically take a negative on its 2 hit.
Yep.
So it's going to. Well, Geenan's right there, so it'll
Yeah,
slash. it.
Geenan's trying to be like the wall so everyone else can get out.
Your armor class is already stupid good.
His armor class is 1 and he's got a +2 on his strength, so hopefully that's
Wow. Okay. So it's at -2. That becomes a fit. Yeah. No. You just like slap. It's it tries to slash you, and you just sort of. It grabs the sword and you yank it out. That would have taken the fingers off of a normal being, but whatever this is, mains, it doesn't affect it. It screams in anger at you.
Well, I know when I'm beat, I'm getting out of there.
yeah.
Okay.
Can I hold an attack for like in case this thing comes springing out? Because like party members are filing out, so can I just like stand there with my sword ready to just basically just not, even if I don't hurt it, I don't know if I can hurt it or not. I still don't, right? But
Well,
worst
you
comes
can
worst,
you
I just
can
knock
be
it back in the
ready.
basement.
You can be ready, and I'll give you a surprise chance, but it's
Yeah.
probably not. All right. So those of you that are falling back may do so. Mark, Geenan is you are basically able to commit a fighting withdrawal. With your initiative, you can move your normal move in your segment, which is going to be enough feet, because you're not that deep in there. You're not like in some deep, dark underground chamber where you had to walk for hours to get to. So it's literally just like over there, turn right, and up 4 steps, and you're outside. So with that, you are able to withdraw. The thing kind of lunges a little bit at you as you're moving back, but it does not follow you.
when Geenan's out, he'll push the door back into place and just say, "Sir Average, here," and we'll just dump a timber on top of the door.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'll put an X on my map, like not going there.
So you now realize that at some point someone summoned a mains, someone gated in a mains, and it was there in the basement. It survived the burning down, which makes sense.
Come
I'm
back
sorry.
with holy water.
I'm sorry, that was a bad idea.
And you see why I burned the house down.
Let's go in the
What a
basement.
waste
Don't go in
they-
the basement.
We
I
didn't
see
burn
why
it
you-
far enough down.
What
We
a
only burned it
waste,
to the
they said. Why worry about a few zombies, they said. Let's loot the house first, they said. No.
I see why half of you were dead when we met.
Kill it with fire.
How bad off is Turgo?
Oh, you cut.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, Bill, we're not hearing you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
There you
I got
go.
a hit
All right.
point. Yeah, I'm beat down.
Valoric will go ahead and cast Cure Light Wounds.
All right.
You get 4 back.
All right, the gods smile upon me.
So the question is, do we want to investigate another place, such as going back down into the well, or wait another day so we're all back again, fresh and new. Valoric has many, many blessings to give to us, whereas right now he perhaps only has a few more.
I've
I'm
never
fine with
felt
another
better.
day.
Yeah.
I'm still down 3 hit points, so if you've got another one of those blessings,
Yes, I can do that as well. You gain 3.
Question for the party as a whole. I presume, and I'm going to point to our thief-like friend. I'm going to ask, why are you using a toad sticker instead of a real sword? So why is, and this would be specifically, sorry, I am trying to get the names.
Links.
Turg, was it
It's
Turgo? Turgo's the thief, right?
Yes.
At least I'm presuming
A
he's the thief.
specialist.
Excellent.
Second story man.
So I presume you're using a toad sticker because you're either not looking to fight and you're a useless caster, or you're not looking to fight and you're a useless pickpocket.
I'm looking to fight.
Oh, cool.
Just
and
from behind.
you're a pointy ear too.
I am.
So
you got a problem with that?
well, what I need is to borrow your services.
Just like you borrowed them then.
No, I didn't go in that hellhole. I wasn't dumb enough to.
Right.
I've
Abyss
learned.
hole. Abyss hole. Demons are from the abyss. Devils are from hell.
My character wouldn't know that, and he wouldn't care.
Oh, you're gonna someday.
Oh, eventually.
If you live long enough, you might.
But,
what do you have in mind, Average?
I need to borrow your eyes to do a circuit of this thrice damnable courtyard because we've looked over it with everyone else, but a specialist eyes. Dwarves have looked over it, elves have looked over it, men at arms, yada yada. The last specialist we had that looked over the courtyard was dead before he could complete his circuit. See prior story. So not that bodes well for you, just don't smack anything. If you see something, run. It's that simple.
I've been known to find things people have meant to keep.
If you see a pretty robot lady, don't hit her with a door.
I mean, I stabbed her with a spear first, so I guess that's technically my
Granted,
fault, but the door was definitely...
Overkill.
She was absolutely willing not to
Underkill,
go
really.
murder gynoid
true,
on you,
true.
and then you went and did that.
I'm willing
So-
to give it a shot.
I mean, maybe
Turgo, what are your elf IC?
Yeah, before we retreat for the day, let's do a lap.
I'm good with that. I suppose I'll go by myself. Around
We're,
the
we're,
perimeter.
we're talking inside or outside?
Well, if the inside goes well, how about we also do outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make a circuit around the perimeter, attempting to hide in shadows, provided they're present, or move silently, or some combination thereof. I don't want to run into the same thing that just happened a few moments ago.
Kronk, the Emperor's New Groove.
Right. All right. So, taking the inner circuit of the walls, you pass each one of the towers slowly, cautiously. The door to the 12 o'clock tower is ever so slightly ajar. You can just see in it as you pass it. Fortunately, you don't see anything living inside it, but you do see, curiously, there is what appears to be a small table with a couple of chairs that they look comfortable, but their frames seem to be made of tubular, shining metal. Strangely, despite the freezing cold, you see what looks like a green leafy plant of jungle origins. And sitting on the table, although you can't identify what exactly it is, there's some kind of upright rack that holds a series of colorful palimpsests or pamphlets of some kind.
Does it looks like this door hasn't been opened recently?
You don't know.
Right.
There's a little bit of dirt and slush on the floor inside. It may have blown in last night. It may have blown in at the beginning of the month.
Right. Anybody who's within eye shot of me, I'll raise my arm and beckon them forward.
I'll head up.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I'll go, but I mean, Sir Average is vehemently shaking his head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gene's not going to get too close to that tower.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is as I described. You can see what looks like a table, a couple of comfortable yet very alien-looking chairs, a green leafy plant, and something sits on the table there. You can even tell from here there's a thick layer of dust on everything.
Was that door open before? Like last time we made a circuit?
Nope.
So
Short answer, no. Long answer, no.
Wait. Brilliant idea.
Turgo, come back before he gets an idea.
Yeah, yeah.
If they're not following me up there, I'll go back towards
that door was not open yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Come back. There is legends. We hear this from our hirelings, those two that are currently unconscious, that someone once told adventurers, don't go into the towers.
Oh.
No one knows who said that anymore. I apologize.
No one knows why either.
No one knows why.
Right.
But we do know from Sir Average, who witnessed with his own eyes when they went into a tower, it did not go well. So the towers are probably off limits for now.
Yeah, it was the whole, what was one room? The first room was fine. There was nothing in it.
This isn't even a room. This is a vestibule. This is, you could open the door and take 2 steps and be in front of the table.
And then the door could slam shut and fill with poison gas, and we'd all be dead.
I would never do something so gauche.
The mimic that is the table would eat us, but you know.
Yeah, right.
The whole room is a mimic.
The coat rack is a camphult. The cloak hanging on it is a cloaker. The hat is an executioner's hood. The table is a mimic. The floor is a trapper, and the ceiling is a lurker above.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll back off then. If they say be nervous
smart.
about the towers, I'm already nervous about this place.
Thanks for telling me this time.
What we have learned so far is we must be very cautious.
Indeed.
In this place.
Okay, so
Bring more fire. Got it.
You complete your circuit. The Tower of Armaments is its door is shut securely. The towers of the Barbican are shuttered. The doors are shut firmly, and you find yourself back at the main gate.
Nothing of interest.
Did you want
Nothing
him
of
to,
interest.
Did you want him to go around the outside now?
The one
Do you
thing
think those
we
giant
know
frogs
is,
are still alive? Oops, sorry, go ahead.
I was just about to mention the giant frogs. Don't want to leave that out. Full disclosure, giant frogs. We did not see them. We heard them and stayed away. They are over there, and he points to the southeast corner. They're outside.
Okay. I suppose I'll scout in that direction, trying to be as quiet as possible. I'm very slowly keeping my eye out for anything that might be up ahead, particularly giant frogs.
Gene will follow behind at a reasonable distance to allow him to do his thing with his bow out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll ready a javelin and follow as well.
Crossbow at the ready.
I have a sword.
You want a javelin?
Nah, I have a sword.
All right. It takes you a good half an hour to walk the perimeter of the outside of the wall. There are places where on this side of the moat, the rampart that makes up the foundation of the castle is slippery, it's frozen mud. So keeping your footing and not going for a swim in the moat that is full of water that is at best questionable is a bit of a trick. And when you slip and stumble from somewhere on the battlements above you, you hear a crow.
Raising the crossbow and looking for that crow.
You don't see it. You don't see it. But you make your circuit, you come back to the main gate, and it is it's mid-morning by now. And you are none for worse for the wear for your walking tour of the inside and outside perimeter of Castle Greyhawk.
Did we hear the frogs this time?
No, you did not.
Maybe it's too cold for them.
Their last encounter with the frogs was riveting.
So who leads this ragtag band anyways?
We lead by committee.
Sir Average has ideas.
Commie dungeon adventurers.
Sir Average has ideas. We don't do those. Valoric is our spiritual advisor.
That we come up with.
Valoric is our spiritual advisor. Bejeebus is our arcane advisor. I'm in charge of hirelings mainly.
I'd like to state for the record, my ideas work.
It was your idea to burn down the zombie house, and that worked. That worked.
I'm reminded of.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm reminded of Harold Ramis as Egon Spengler. What was it? Who stopped you from cutting off your own head? That would have worked.
Yeah, that's very much Sir Average. Yeah. And also walking face first into that meat grinder that was that orc layer Sir Average would take that as his idea, I think.
Well, you did a good job. You found the pit trap for us.
Exactly. It worked just fine.
Yeah. I think we should have another rest day. And I think tomorrow we should go into the well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it works out well. Gina did not take any points in humor.
I have a charisma of 9. Don't feel bad.
You're absolutely average.
I am.
You're not average all the way down, just 99999. I can honestly say I've never seen an exactly average character in a D&D game.
I'm between 9 and 14.
Mostly because characters wouldn't have had that. Okay, so you make your way back to the lodgement. Nothing attacks you. It's warm. It's dry. It doesn't have a mains demon in it. You going to rest overnight?
4 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are we doing? Like, is anyone still hurt?
I'm full health.
How do those demon injuries look?
I'm still a little hurt.
They've been healed, so just not. There's no like suffocating wounds that won't close, or they don't form the design that looks like an evil face or anything like that. So he's healed up.
Now I pour.
I'll help Gene again. Ooh, a big 6 that time.
I have plenty full.
Nice.
Thank you.
All right.
Geenan will take a moment and hang his orc motivational poster that he got from the orc lair on the wall, especially pointing to the start, fight, end fight as his new slogan.
How's that map you've been making going?
Not bad. That's the castle. The map of the well is not much at all. There's really nothing to show.
There's a table here, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with what we discussed in a previous DM and just start carving that into the table.
Okay.
The castle.
Both. I'm just going to start with, not big, like as in like the whole castle courtyard is only going to be like yay big on the table. It's not going to be big.
Yeah. Gene lets you know. He shows you this is the scroll case. I keep these in. I keep them with me. If I go down and you can take it, it is the knowledge we have.
Well, this way, in case we're all in case we all die, we may because all the adventurers that have mapped this, right? Haven't they? What good does it do? There's no library that they're giving these maps to.
Yeah.
At least this way, some poor sod who comes in after us here you go.
Yours will be the skeleton I describe a future group finds clutching a map case. You'll be a part of my Living Greyhawk campaign,
Yes.
whether you want to or not.
Sir Average, age 7.
100.
Yeah, the orcs are little stick figure orcs. There's a little sun on the side.
Okay, so the night passes uneventfully. Not using that die again to check. And you wake up feeling refreshed, feeling as though your god has again blessed you. The men-at-arms are moving about a little bit better, but their injuries will take a few more days before they're 100%. Although one of them, Baker, is it? Gamely says, "I can fight on, sir. Let's go into the dungeon. I'm ready."
Then you go first.
Motivational poster.
Yeah. Rest. You rest.
As
Sir
you
Average,
will,
tell
Captain.
your people to rest. They're not my hirelings. They're your hirelings. You tell your
That's fair. I'm going to hand them the other probably half a bottle of whiskey at this point because the two new guys each got a drink the previous night. And so I'm going to tell them to sit down, shut up, and finish the other half of the bottle.
Yes, doctor.
Hey, it's hard to stand when you're drunk. Things don't hurt as bad when you're drunk.
Spoken like an amateur.
So, is the plan that we and my one hireling are going to go into the well today?
We're leaving two here.
Two here.
Yeah.
Your two are arresting. My two are guarding them.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one left. She comes with me, Alice.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go into the well, and I suggest we go after the orcs. Because we think there are not too many left.
And they haven't had weeks to regain reinforcements or find more.
Nope.
So.
Yeah, it has been 4 full days since you put the smack down on the orcs.
Oh, 4 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You came up and rested a night. That was a day.
Mm-hmm.
You went back into the castle. That was a day. You've rested overnight again. 3 days. I'm sorry. 3 days.
Yeah. Okay.
Me am math good.
Yeah, let's march down.
That's okay when you're calculating our 2 hit bonuses. That's fine.
So you're +5? Yes. Yes. As long as there are no further questions as to why and how, yes.
Go ahead.
I was just going to mention, I'm running for my Monday night group, which is not live streamed, valued viewers, unfortunately. We're playing Lost Caverns of Sojkamp, which is a beast of a module and a lot of fun. And if you're a fan of classic D&D, go to DriveThruRPG, buy a copy of Lost Caverns of Soshkoth, print on demand, PDF, and get it printed somewhere else. I don't care. It's awesome. The party has gotten to what they think is the ultimate fight. I'm not going to say whether it is or isn't. And when I rolled the attack for the vampirist that they're fighting, I typed it out on screen, and they can see the formula that I put into the dice roller. And it was 1d20 plus 10. It was an audible intake of breath on the channel. 12 people going when they saw that modifier on the lovely lady's 2-hit dice. But anyway,
Yeah, like
you guys have not faced such a creature, and I wouldn't be so cruel as to throw that at you yet.
But real talk though, party. If there's a thief amongst us, speaking to you directly, sorry, do you want to go first? Because if you go first and you get hit, you're dead.
It might also give us the best opportunity to survive in the first place. I don't think that I would want to go up, say, 60, 70, 80 feet ahead of everybody. And I don't intend to go down into the cellar of the demon again. But if we can manage it a little more manageably, it might be a good idea.
Are we just descending a rope?
Yeah, I was thinking we need to make sure that people are up above, aiming arrows down in case of problems. People go down and then basically make a beachhead, if you will. So Gene and his hireling were going to go down first with people guarding me, and then I can guard while other people come down.
Gene?
Yes.
Sir Average is going to put it this way. I love you. That's a horrible plan. I'm going first.
Fine. I'll cover you. I know you well. You can take some hits.
That's the reason. Is because you're hard to hit, but you can't dodge while swinging on a rope.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, you go down first. We'll cover you with our javelins, whatever.
Foes.
And then when you are okay with it, we'll come down, and then the people that have less martial ability will come last.
I resent that.
Not you. Not you, ladies.
Talking about us.
No, we need to send the spellcaster in first, man. He rolls better than any of us.
Yeah. Our spellcaster casts dagger, so that's their weapon.
He's blessed by the gods. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
We thought that about our last clear.
Okay, so Sir Average, you first.
Yeah, Sir Average, then Gene in second.
Yep, and the hireling, and then we can make a little perimeter. Everyone else can come down.
Okay, so DM, do I see anything as I shimmy down the rope and light a torch?
Oh, you guys
for the well?
I thought you were talking about this back at the cabin. I didn't realize you.
Proceeding on through to moving through and shimmy down the rope.
All right. So no, you do not. You are back, and let me see here. Let me make sure the table is presentable. I still don't have an ideal camera solution, but I will put this up on the screen. I don't know Bill and Lord Corion. Now I know Lord Corion, but if you guys have seen the telecast dungeon, let me see if I can bring that up. Camera's a little askew. I'll adjust that. And we'll go, let's see. What is the best view? There we go.
That works.
All right. So there is, that's basically where we left off, but Average and the rest of you are to descend. You're not in the room yet. I'll say that.
And I see an army of angry orcs.
So you are looking away to the east, I take it first?
Yeah.
Yes.
Known territory first.
There are orcs there. You're a little startled by this, so they're going to act first.
We got trouble. Yes, trouble. Trouble with a capital T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool.
Now I'm glad you went first.
All right. So you stop, you turn, you look, and a couple of orcs are hurling spears at you. The range there, that's going to be medium range. Both spears miss. And there is a gonging sound coming from that direction.
All right. Heads up, asses down, boys. Let's go.
Gene and his man-at-arm, woman-at-arm, will come down the rope fast.
Okay.
Can I carry? Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just and I'll be ready with a bow in case I see the yellow of an orc eye. I'll shoot.
I'll hop on the rope next.
Okay.
This is giving cover from up top with his crossbow.
Okay. Why don't we go ahead? The orcs had their round of surprise. Let's go ahead and roll initiative. And James, we'll start with you to give you something to do.
4.
Okay. The orcs are yelling.
Thank you, James.
And they remembered their own pit trap.
Damn. You can hope, right? There's just to be one idiot. Just one idiot.
Any chance of getting a bow shot off as they're running down the hall?
No, unfortunately, you lost initiative. So,
Fair enough.
Even with a 4, man.
so that is the group of orcs that has rushed forward into the landing zone. Who is still up above? Because there was a bit of surprise when Average came down the rope, so that gave the orcs time to throw their spears. Then you guys lost initiative. So we now have party members moving down the ropes to join Average, which is what we see. Well, actually, is Jeanin going first?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's one person down a rope.
If there's more than one rope, Gene and his man-at-arms were gonna go down together, like on 2 ropes.
Okay, well, the ropes don't go all the way down except for the one your party has.
Okay. I would have remembered that. I'll have to remember that next time.
That's fine.
Gene first then.
Okay, so Jeanin, you are down. You are standing next to Sir Average. Who is going down a rope next? Is it the man-at-arms? Woman-at-arms. I'm ecumenical in my total party kills, guys.
Yeah.
I'm an equal party killer.
Yeah.
Don't at me.
Lynx.
Yeah,
Come on
it
now.
was me next, I think.
Okay, so woman-at-arms, and then I'm sorry, who was it that was saying next?
Lynx is coming down.
Lynx. Okay, so I don't have a miniature for you yet, Lynx. When you survive to 2nd level, then I'll get something dedicated.
It's all right. I understand. Minis are for closers.
All right. So woman-at-arms. Lynx is coming down next. We'll use this man-at-arms for Lynx. And you'll be down at the end of the round. But as the woman-at-arms is coming down, let us roll initiative. I know what the orcs are going to do. Average, Jeanin, what are you guys going to do?
Slash.
6 for initiative, and I have a great sword, and I'm going to apply it liberally.
Yeah.
So wait, when did you come down?
Sir Average was the first down.
Yeah.
Oh, sir. God, I'm sorry. Let me get my foot out of my mouth. Yes. So the party, you go first. For some
Sweet.
reason, I was just stuck on Gina being the first one down.
10 total.
Well,
Well,
take
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You have your own incorrect answer buzzer right in your throat.
Same here. And for my man-at-arms,
Your
a
man at
total
arms
of a
isn't down
12.
yet. Your man at arms is
Oh,
not down
damn it.
yet.
Damn it. Never mind.
Okay.
Does Bejeebus have a shot from his vantage point?
No, you will pot someone in the head, but not who you want.
Okay. I figured coming down from the upper angle there, I could have popped one of them in the top of the head. Okay.
Hey, a
All right.
kill's a kill.
All right. So we have I'm going to say two orc attacks on each of you. Yes, that is perfect. So 2 orc attacks on each of you. That is a miss. That is a miss. Average, you just shrug it off. Jinan, that is a miss. And that is a miss. The orcs are ineffective. Next round, woman at arms is down next to you, Jinan. Who is coming down next?
I believe it was Lynx. Oh, was it Lynx? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lynx is coming down. So I'll put the Lynx miniature down, but facing away to indicate that you will be down in the next round. Let's roll initiative because I know what the orcs are going to do.
I will roll.
All right.
Oh, maybe not one.
Okay. Orc versus woman at arms. That is a hit. She is only scraped. She takes a point of damage. Orc versus Jinan. Miss. Orc versus Average. Miss. Orc versus Average.
3.
Let's see. That is. I hate it. Look, dice. Just show me a 20 or show me a 1. All right. That is a miss. Okay. Next down then is. Where do you want to be when you come down the rope? Rope hangs roughly in the middle of the party.
I guess I'll go sort of to the right to fan out and try to form that beachhead.
Who's coming down next?
I will.
All right.
Turga.
There you let's see.
20 doesn't roll above 10, so I'm going to shift across the room.
All right. Orcs are gonna do that thing. Let's roll initiative.
Wait. We haven't attacked yet.
We haven't attacked yet.
Oh, sorry. My mistake.
I was hoping you wouldn't notice.
Hey, there we go. That's a hit, and probably one's dead. That's 10 plus damage.
Yeah, I rolled an 20 on my sword. I bet you that hits, right?
Yes.
And so I do a total of 9 points of damage against one of the orcs.
You both turn the orcs into 2 half orcs.
And the woman at arms misses.
Have you read our magazine, Orc Quarterly?
All right. And you can hear in the distance hobbed boots as orcs are rushing forward up the hall, but you can't see them yet. All right. End of the round. Your next character is down, and where do you want to be? Left, right, middle, what?
Yeah, to the right, please.
Okay, who's coming down in the next round?
Bejeebus.
Bejeebus, okay. And let's roll initiative.
4.
4. Okay, the orcs go first. A group of orcs moves up from the rear. That is a miss. That is a miss. And that is a miss. It sucks to be me. Okay.
Nope.
Oof.
Does a 13 hit for Jeenan?
What did I tell you about
I'm actually staring at that chart.
a 13? Let me see.
And will a 14 hit for the woman at arms?
The 13 is an 8 for Jeenan.
14 will hit.
Okay.
The 13 will not.
No, 13's a 7 for Jeenan.
That's too bad.
Oh, wait. A 13 is a 7. Hang on. Let me...
Yeah, because he's a 1.
Yep. Let's see. I know orcs sit somewhere in the armor class 6 or 7 range. And these do have shields, so... Let's see here. Nope, that is a miss. With their shield, their armor class 6.
But will the 14 hit?
The 14 will hit, yes.
1 point of damage. No
Okay,
chance.
she gives as good as she got.
Poignards do work.
So we have... Six additional orcs have rushed into the fray. Alrighty. Who's coming down next? And where does Bejeebus want to be?
I guess to the left. And Valoric is sliding down the rope next.
All right, and that leaves Valoric coming down the rope.
Jeenan will be taunting the orcs with in Orcish with some of their motivational phrases, like "respect the boss."
Oh, you have red poster. we kill you nice. We not eat your guts while you still twitching.
Start, fight, end fight.
Okay.
Don't make trouble. Not sure why that's on an orc motivation poster.
If make trouble, finish it.
Remember,
run out
pit
of room
trap.
on sheepskin. Me have issue with printer. Sorry about that. Okay, I know what the
PC
orcs
load letter.
There you go. You mother bitch! I kill your duck. Right.
Were me and Corian supposed to attack? Lynx? Did you attack already, Lynx?
No.
Yeah, you guys have make your attacks, please.
That's a miss.
Okay.
They were 6. Yeah, that's a miss.
Alrighty. So regardless of the minis I put out, these orcs do have shields and scimitars. So I know what they're going to be doing. You guys, I'm guessing, are going to cast stab on them.
Yeah.
Basically.
Let's go
Summon
ahead and roll
sword.
initiative then, please.
Lord Corian.
Corian?
Yeah, go ahead.
You got a 4.
Hey.
Party goes first.
Yes.
Excellent.
Awesome.
God. That's a miss.
I hit with my dagger only, sadly,
Okay.
I rolled another 4, so no.
for 4 points of damage against one orc, and my woman at arms misses.
I missed.
Okay.
But Jeebus pulled his long sword and got a hit with an 18.
Nice.
Does 4 points of damage.
You hew it down.
God damn it, useless wizard.
Time for a new D20.
Okay, and oh, by the way, where does Valoric want to be?
He's going to stay at the back to heal anybody that takes any damage.
Alrighty. You don't really see anyone bleeding. The woman at arms has a gash on her on her forearm, but otherwise, everyone seems to be good to go. Okay, has everyone attacked now?
I believe so.
Yeah.
All right. Counterattacks going left to right against Bejeebus. That's a miss. I'm going to get a better D20 than that. Okay. Against Woman at Arms. That's a miss. Against Jeanin. That's a hit. Jeanin takes 8 points of damage.
Ooh.
He's dead again.
Oh, man.
Damn.
Yay. Valoric has something to do now.
Jeanin falls. How dead is Jeanin?
He's -1.
Oh, okay, yeah. They can get you back on your feet and back in the
He
fight.
hit AC 1. Crap. That's good throw.
As a 19's a 19.
Yeah, go back to the other die.
That's why they call it a die roll.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. That is a miss. And what did I tell you about rolling the intermediate numbers? That's almost certainly a miss. Yeah. No. Okay. Unless your armor class is 7 or lower. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. So a ragged cheer goes up from the orcs when they see Jeanin fall. New round. I guess Bejeebus has something to do.
Yeah.
Okay. You mean Valoric?
Valoric.
Yeah.
Can I
Bejeebus
shift?
just sounds like a cleric name to me. Can you? I'm sorry.
So switch the names.
Okay. Valoric will cast CLW, I guess.
Yes.
All right. Anyone else?
Can I shift over to his unconscious body so I can plant my feet, so they can't Mordhau him or something to death?
Absolutely.
Got a 7 on the Cure Light Wounds.
Dead, alive. Done.
I think you're still passed out, aren't you, comatose, or no?
I was just about to ask Bill that.
You are unconscious, but not dying and not hors de combat for 3 turns. That's 30 minutes.
Okay.
Even a cure light wounds will not get you not unconscious, but
Flab him.
all right. Let's see. Have I attacked you all? Yes. Okay, so we're getting declarations. Let's roll initiative.
Who's got it this time? Me?
Is it? Yeah.
It doesn't
think-
matter.
A 6.
It is a
That's why we
tie.
picked you.
Lovely. Scimitars. We get to go to weapon speed. And this, folks, once again, is an educational part of the game, because here is the good place to use weapon speed factors when there's initiative ties. So the orcs have essentially scimitars that are weapon speed factor 4.
Short sword is 3.
Short sword is 3.
Yes, it is.
Dagger is 1, I think.
Yeah.
The flambears that the dwarf is winding up with will hit in the next turn.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think the orcs kind of have the drop. Let's see. What is Bejeebus wielding again? Mace, right?
Longsword.
Longsword. Okay, so the scimitar will go before your longsword.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if the scimitar misses, and this stupid dice goes over there. Next along, the woman at arms is armed with what?
Short sword.
Short sword goes first.
She rolled a 15, which I believe hits. and
That
got
will hit.
2 points of damage.
2 points of damage. The orc is redoubtable and remains standing. Dylan says, when is the stream over? We'll probably wrap at the end of this melee, guys, just for my players and for our viewers, just letting you know that is, we will probably wrap then.
After the TPK.
Total porker
I have to
kill.
quit then.
Total porker kill.
Yeah.
You got to be confident about this kind of thing. All right. Let's see. Next in line is Jinan. Jinan has a what? Oh, you've got two weapons. So the orc with the scimitar is going to.
Jinan is down on the ground.
Oh, Jinan. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So this is against against Average.
Mm-hmm.
Et tu, Brute. That's a miss. Let's see. Next. What are my two new players armed with, please?
I have short sword.
Short sword goes first.
I go after. I get the bastard sword.
5 miss.
Okay. Scimitar. That is a miss against you.
Scimitar against
bastard.
me.
Bastard sword. That is a hit.
Ooh.
You take 2 points of damage.
Oof.
And is Valoric hitting Jinan with a Cure Light Wounds? Is that what's happening?
He did that the last round. I don't know what it brought him back up to.
Okay, that brought him back up to
7, right?
Yeah, you got 7
So-
back. So that was
yes.
6.
Okay,
So he's full health but unconscious.
full
Okay.
health but unconscious, and will be for a little bit.
Yeah.
The AC 6 or AC 7? I hit an AC 7.
They are AC 6.
I wasted all my luck on that 20 that didn't matter.
So Bejeebus gets his swing now.
And so does Sir Average.
Okay.
All right.
That's better.
Okay. What'd you roll?
15.
That
And
will
Orc
hit.
is dead.
4 points of damage.
Unless that Orc has more than 9 hit points.
Okay. Let's go ahead and roll initiative for the next round.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I shouldn't do initiative anymore, too.
Oh. You were rolling
That's what you
4s
get for
earlier.
lying down.
I know.
Alrighty. Laying down on the job.
Yep.
Okay, roll initiative, guys.
Good.
You just did.
We just did 2.
Oh,
Got a 2.
Oh, a 2. Okay. Clearly. All right, left to right here. Here we go. Across. 14 is probably not going to hit you. 14. No, because your armor class is definitely better than 5. Okay. Miss. That is a hit. That is against Average, and Average takes 4 points of damage.
Okay. He's finally taking the fight seriously.
Oh, that is a miss. And that is a miss. Okay, counterattacks.
Ooh, crappy damage.
Alice misses.
Got a 10 this time.
Hey, I hit this time.
AC 5.
You said a 14 hits, right?
A 14 does hit, yes.
Some guy takes 4 damage, or 5, depending on what my strength is, whatever.
Lynx hits for a 7 on an orc.
Okay.
and I hit for 3.
Dead orc. Dead orc. He's still up. So
Yes, I can add to my kill count.
Morale.
we'll see. We'll see. Dylan is in chat. Bill, I don't. he's like, when is it going to end? You don't stream this long normally. Soon, Dylan. I promise. You can have him back soon, buddy. Don't worry. Oh gosh, if that's your son, that means I gotta start getting family friendly. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he hears a lot.
All the kids do these days. All right. I know what the orcs are gonna do. Let's roll initiative.
Go ahead.
6.
Nice.
Okay. Wow. Okay, the party goes first. You are going to strike at their retreating backs. They are turning to run. Actually, no. The orcs are dropping their weapons.
Oh.
Oh, you win. No kill. No kill.
For those who are sensitive, for those who are sensitive in the audience, they might want to look away now.
Not taking any prisoners tonight, are we, Average?
Geenan is currently still unconscious, so you figure out what your story you're going to tell Geenan later.
Are you going to let Sir Average have his way? Or no?
Geenan's unconscious.
Valoric might say something. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm waiting. Does Valoric or either of the new guys speak up?
I mean, I'm neutral good.
Yeah.
I'm mostly good, but the biggest problem is if we develop a reputation for not giving quarter, what happens down the line?
I got the rope to tie him up, but what do we do with him afterwards?
Tell you what, we'll give you a quarter. We'll be nice for you. We'll leave you for your friends. Let's open that 10-foot pit.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
And no, that's what Average wants to do. He just won't seal it up afterwards. That's what he intended to do.
Okay. So are you throwing them in there or lowering them in there?
We can lower him in. Give him a rope.
All right. All right.
Make sure we get everything off of them that they could use to.
Okay. Well, we will see next week what loot you get from them as you continue to adventure in Castle Greyhawk. Thank you to our new players tonight. I hope you found the adventure engaging and interesting. Thank you to our audience. Thank you, Dylan, for your patience. Your dad's a good D&D player. He made it through one of my Castle Greyhawk sessions.
By this much.
Hey, you're
Twice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mobius. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Guys, we are now at 954 subs on the channel. And if you don't know what that means, if you're wondering why I'm talking in numbers constantly, when this channel hits 1,000 subs, we're having a virtual mini convention. That's right. Hosted games over Discord, a con in a time when it's a little hard to get to conventions. You know, you go to a convention in Florida and it's just like, hey, everything's normal. You go to a convention somewhere else and it's like, welcome to the con. Here's your complimentary Tyvek suit with a con logo on it. You know, it's like, it's just kind of the world we live in. But no, the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention will happen when this channel hits 1,000 subs. And as I said last night, if we ever get to 10,000 subs, I'll have a real convention. I think the pandemic will be long over by the time I get to 10,000 subs, if that ever happens. But no, thank you everyone who suggests the channel, who pushes the videos out there. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Gentlemen, I'll see you all next week. Have an absolutely stellar evening, and we'll do the scraping of the treasure from these creatures and whatnot at that time. Yes?
Yes.
Here, here.
Alrighty, guys. I'm glad you had fun, and we'll catch you all next time. And to my audience, thank you. Peace.